Hey guys, Stream here again. This is me. What if Naruto was raised by Jiraiya? Or what if Jiraiya raised Naruto according to the thumbnail? So, basically, I kind of got, I had this what if before, but now I'm doing it again for a different reason. There's one I deleted because I think the reason I wanted to do it was good enough, and I think the way I did it was good in general. Like, it was popular for a small amount of time, but like it was pretty popular. It got 1,000 views in a day, and then, well, barely got up to 2,000 after like 3 months. But, yeah. The pretty decent views, just very slow. So, basically in this one, well, the reason I'm doing it is the fact that I'm kind of like comparing how strong Naruto got in 2 years and the way I'm having Jiraiya raise Naruto, and the amount of time I'm doing it. I'm kind of want to experiment, see how strong Naruto would have gotten in these few years, and see if you guys agree and like the way I do it. So, now, Jiraiya would adopt Naruto when he's 5 to the fact that Naruto is basically just lonely, and he's been living on his own for a year now, and seems to be doing pretty horribly. But there's really no one else to take in Naruto. Kakashi's his apartment, well, currently let's say Kakashi's riding the Anbu, and, well, Kid doesn't really say Kakashi's in the Anbu, and if he does leave the Anbu, he'd have to be a joining teacher. Well, still, he wouldn't be home as often. And, well, Kakashi doesn't have any friends that aren't Might Guy or Yamato, who are both in the, well, Might Guy is not in the Anbu, but he's a joining teacher. We have Yamato, who's in the Anbu. So there's really no one else he's friends with that maybe all joining teachers, but they're all like teachers or current joining on a mission. So due to him really not Kakashi because of that reason, well, an orphanage wouldn't suffice. No one really likes him. And then the Naruto clan Naruto clan mainly hates Naruto, just not Shikaku or Shikamaru. Then most of Choji's family hates Naruto, just not Choji. There's really no one else for Naruto to live with, and he was busy being Hokage, so Naruto would be home all day. And he has to think really hard. Now with this, he actually comes across one of Jiraiya's old books he had gotten from his apartment, not apartment, but his old house. And, well, realized the book was called Tell the Gutsy Shinobi. You realize that the book was, well, not realize, but remember the book was written by Jiraiya, and the main character is named coincidentally Naruto. He's like, wouldn't that make Jiraiya Naruto's godfather? So he calls up Jiraiya. He tells Jiraiya that there's really no one Naruto can live with besides him. Jiraiya asks about all the options, and he's like, well, there's no other options. Everyone's either busy or Naruto would be lonely 24/7. It's like, well, what about me? I'm homeless. He's like, Jiraiya, you're basically a millionaire. You can afford a child. And Jiraiya's like, alright, fuck, I forgot you knew that. So yeah. Now with this, Jiraiya has no other choice, as the order of the Hokage is to, well, raise Naruto. Plus, it's kind of his job as a godfather. So, yeah. Naruto, his only friends would be Shikamaru, Choji, and I guess Shino and Hinata are on good terms as well. But basically just those 4. So Naruto eventually sets out with Jiraiya for around 7 years. First, the Naruto would mainly remember being, besides Konoha, is probably Mount Myoboku. It looked like the Jiraiya would go there constantly just to hang out with the Toads. And, well, Naruto could go there too, so to say, but, well, it would take a while for him to get used to taking in nature energy, which he actually is able to do by the time he's around 8 years old. So, yeah, by the time he's 7, he meets the Toads. By the time he's 8, he can take in nature energy normally, just can't use Sage Mode. And Jiraiya just due to not wanting Naruto to, well, he thinks that Naruto's body may not be able to handle Sage Mode, so he will not allow Naruto to use Sage Mode or learn how to use it yet. So, this leads to basically Naruto, well, learning how to do Fire Style, Water Style, and Earth Style from the Toads. The water and earth kind of create the mud style thing, but yeah. This Jiraiya will teach Naruto how to do Wind Release, and he begins Naruto's Rasengan training, but not full Rasengan training, because he doesn't know Naruto's body. It may be a little too painful on his body. The Jiraiya has to create an alternative to the Rasengan for Naruto, so he doesn't think that Naruto should learn it. But he basically can tell Naruto about a jutsu he invented. Naruto would ask to see it, but Jiraiya would not let Naruto see it until he actually invents the jutsu, so to say. No, it takes all the steps of Rasengan, just minus the final step, which is creating Rasengan. And instead of using chakra to spin it around, you'll use wind and spin it around, creating this ball of wind. And it's actually able to be thrown, and infused with other nature releases. Well, lightning is the weakness to wind. Let me check that real quick. Oh, it's weak against fire, not lightning. It's stronger with lightning, weak against fire. But, yeah. So the fire's only nature release, you can't really fuse with it. And Naruto, by the way, doesn't have lightning release at all. He doesn't know how to use it, because Jiraiya doesn't. So, yeah. So with this, we mainly have Naruto, who can use 4 nature releases out of the 5, plus a bit of yin and yang release. Not a lot, but a bit of it. And, well, Naruto, canonically, at the beginning of Shippuden, was probably around, I put him at, mid-Chunin, probably, low Jonin. So, that was only with 2 years of training, compared to Naruto, who's barely even a regular Genin pre-time skip. So, imagine how strong this Naruto is after 7 years. At base 1 without any power with Kurama Chakra, because, well, you can bet Jiraiya would have at least experimented with the seals. So, Naruto has been used to using Kurama's Chakra as his own, even though he's under the Naruto's Jinchuriki. And all Jiraiya told Naruto about his parents is that, well, they're very close friends with Jiraiya and incredibly powerful shinobi. And plus, Naruto's kind of a pervert, so, yeah. By the way, this is fan art. I forgot to give credits to who did it. This is the credits. I found it on Pinterest. But the fan art is good, so... Well, fan art I use is good in my opinion. But this is the credits that I was able to find, because usually I kind of just get it off Google or some random site. And I'm not able to find credits, because it will take me to a random site that just says, submit art that you like, or just, random picture that I can just find somewhere. There's no credits at all. This is actually one of the very few I found credits for. Give you another few seconds. Okay. So I'm gonna go over some of Naruto's stats, because he's trained with Jiraiya for a few years, even is able to use his Naruto's power up to 1 Tails, in full control. 2 Tails, he's really able to maintain control, and 3 Tails is where the demon is out. For stats, well, Naruto in Taijutsu is around a B-rank shinobi, not a B-rank Genin, no, a shinobi. A B-rank shinobi in Taijutsu. Yeah, that's counting Jonin, Anbu, Kage, Genin, Chunin. He's just an elite in Taijutsu. Then with Ninjutsu, he's actually around an A-rank. A-rank shinobi, not an A-rank Genin. There's a difference. There's a difference in counting the other ranks that are involved. Then we would go to Naruto Genjutsu. He's around a C rank, kind of average. I'd put Naruto like tuning level. Other stats, he's like Charlie Johnny level. But his his Genjutsu and other forms of other forms bring him down. His Ninjutsu and Taijutsu are where that brings him up. Healing in Ninjutsu doesn't know a thing. Sage Jutsu, he knows how it works, just doesn't know how to use it. So yeah, just his other all-around stats bring him down a bit, but his other stats bring him up pretty high. So yeah, Naruto eventually is brought to the Hidden Leaf, and he's brought to the Hidden Leaf. So the fact that only he doesn't know anyone besides Toads and Jiraiya. That's about it. But Naruto also grew up hearing tales about all the Sannin, and he coincidentally heard that Jiraiya had trained the legendary shinobi outside the Hidden Leaf. Naruto strives to meet this legendary shinobi because Jiraiya doesn't know if he's Jiraiya didn't say if he's alive or not. Naruto should just hope the shinobi's alive, because he doesn't want to ask Jiraiya in case he's dead. But in hopes that this shinobi's alive, he wants to meet him. So, Naruto's current dream is being Hokage and actually meeting Nagato. Because he does say that the book that Naruto's named after was based off this one shinobi. Plus it's kind of an autobiography. So yeah. Now with this we move on to Naruto when he's put in the academy. Or put for selection. Which we're going to go to the night before. Before, Naruto and Jiraiya were heading to the Hidden Leaf, and Naruto said he's been checking his old apartment, as usually did not sell it off, more or less he did sell the apartment, but gave Naruto a house pretty decently big and kind of on the outskirts of Konoha. Usually did say this house belonged to someone pretty famous in Konoha, it's just they died a long time ago. As Naruto was jumping through the forest, well, eventually he comes across Mizuki, who's trying to read this scroll as healing. But Mizuki, as Naruto realizes what this is, and sees shinobi jumping around the whole village, Mizuki, before he can even realize what's happening, he's put in a rear naked chokehold and choked unconscious. Naruto begins looking at the scroll, trying to see what's interesting about it, and finds Shadow Clone Jutsu, Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu, Flying Raijin, and just those 3. Shadow Clones he got down pretty fast, he already knew how to do the basics, but Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu is something he didn't know about, so making this many clones, well, it's impressive. Even Flying Raijin is the one thing he writes down, puts the scroll away, rolls it back up and gives it to everyone else. They saw Mizuki, and Naruto just says he's choked out in the woods, or unconscious because he choked him out in the woods. They find Mizuki, they arrest him, and Naruto would go to his house on the outskirts of Konoha, where Jiraiya is already there. They asked what happened, and Naruto said he found some guy running away with the close ceiling, so he choked him out. Jiraiya chuckles, saying, "Alright then, well, I'm heading to bed." So, the house is kind of currently is Minato's house, it's Minato's old house. The house has 3 floors. the top floor, which is like where Naruto's gonna sleep. It's the top bedroom, the third floor, so to say. The second floor is kind of like the main area, like living room and everything, kitchen. And the third floor is more like the basement / storage area. Which will due to Naruto probably not being able to hear him doing unholy activities, and Jiraiya probably being able to get a decent workout in down there without Naruto bothering him. He chooses to sleep down there. Naruto sleeps upstairs. Here's in the master bedroom, and it's a pretty huge room. So yeah, plus Jiraiya can sneak in women if Naruto's asleep and up there. So yeah. But on the next day, Naruto heads to the academy, and he goes to the academy when he's around 9 years old. He might come off for like a brief hour, then did the jutsus necessary, then left. Jiraiya's on the mission near Konoha. He's like, all right, I have an idea for you. Just go there for a bit, come back to me. And tried to tell Hiruzen beforehand that he has a mission nearby and might send Naruto to Konoha for a bit just to hang out. So yeah. Naruto doesn't completely abandon Konoha, it's just he barely knows anyone outside of Jiraiya, Toad, Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, and Shino. That's about it. Those are his only friends that he barely even talks to. Last time he saw them was like 3 years ago? With Naruto in the academy, when he walks in, everyone kind of questions why Naruto's there. Like, oh, why is he here? Like, didn't he leave? And you're like, well, he graduated the academy a few years ago. Shikamaru and Choji, as were his friends, I guarantee you probably saw him and didn't leave. One time he was there for like an hour or two, and that was him taking the graduation exam. He passed. Shocked them all, he graduated before them. And they asked if he's done any missions, and he says currently his record stands at 100 D ranks, 40 C ranks, and 1 B rank. They're all shocked that Naruto's done well over 100 missions. So this one, like, Sasuke was kind of curious, saying, "Well, are D ranks hard?" Naruto says, "No, they're more like doing chores for other people." That's kind of what it is. They hear that they're less looking forward to being a shinobi if they're still doing chores for the start. Naruto talk about the tuning exam, saying he had the option to take him. It's just he was so far away that he missed them. So yeah. So this year he's moving back in Konoha to stay because he has to take tuning exams, and he has to get accustomed to knowing more than 4 people. So he takes his seat next to Shikamaru and Choji, but Naruto, well, before he sits next to them, he looks at the girls in class, points at Hinata and Ino, saying average, with the Sakura saying cutting board. And those who got the joke immediately burst out laughing. Even someone laughing so hard they're crying. Sakura got the joke, holding her arms, saying, "Naruto, you pervert." All Naruto does is walk past her, sitting next to Shikamaru and Choji. And currently, Naruto's intelligence is pretty, well, he's a genius, to say the least. Currently, he rivals Shikamaru in intelligence. But Naruto still acts like an idiot, so, yeah. Now, Iruka hands out the test. They pass it. Well, Naruto and Shikamaru pass with flying colors, which Naruto actually can tease Shikamaru, Naruto filled out the test perfectly, then handed it to Shikamaru. Then Shikamaru's like, okay, cool. So Shikamaru copies all the answers, just because it's easy. Then I handed it in, and, well, they pass. With this, Naruto nonetheless proceeds to be put on a different team. He's going to be on Team 7, but they have 2 team leaders. They say that's Naruto's adopted father, and Kakashi Hatake, a shinobi of the leaf. Or Kakashi Hatake of the hidden leaf. Now Sasuke would not be blessed with the rank of the shinobi, but Naruto would decide, saying, "Damn it, we get Kakashi." Naruto's heard a few tales about Kakashi via Jiraiya hearing Minato how Kakashi developed the habit of being late after his teammate Obito had died. So Jiraiya, you're like, why'd you say damn it? Naruto said, according to Dad, well, according to Sensei, Kakashi's always 2 hours late. Iruka chuckles, saying, yeah, he kind of is. So Team 7, settle in for a bit and go to the training ground for a bit if you want to. So they do just as Kakashi, and, well, first off, Kakashi gets to watch Jiraiya write the next Make-Out novel, which he's looking forward to. But Naruto nonetheless goes to training ground and begins training. Now Sasuke would ask Naruto doesn't know any jutsu besides the basic academy ones, and Naruto would say he can use all nature releases except for lightning. Which shocks Sasuke and Sakura, as Sasuke was like, Seiyuu and Fire Style. Naruto would say he's basically mastered it. Sasuke will shoot Fireball jutsu at Naruto, which Naruto immediately slaps away with his bare hand, saying, "Was that it? Is that your Fire Style jutsu? If that is, I'll kick the hell out of you just for how weak that was. I slapped away with my bare hand. It was a fireball." Sasuke's kind of shocked, but Sasuke would say, like, they're shaking his head. So, Naruto, when Sasuke reveals that it was his strongest jutsu, and his only jutsu, Naruto quickly just spin kicks Sasuke in the side of the head, knocking him out cold immediately. Now, Sakura was just shocked to see Naruto not to be that fast, and Sasuke couldn't even, like, just think of how fast that truly was. Actually, after 5 minutes, Sasuke stopped awake, and Naruto would say, from now on, he will train Sasuke. Because, well, Sasuke was like, we have teachers for that. And Naruto's like, no, they'll train us, we'll do missions with them, and that's about it. You two will learn from me. And he does say for the last time member Sakura, she's not powerful at all. He can't even sense any chakra coming from her, that's how weak she is. Naruto would be thinking, saying, your first test of the day. He immediately begins walking up a tree, saying, alright, if you guys can do this by the time Kakashi arrives, then you guys are already ahead of the other teams. When they hear this, they immediately begin trying to run one of the trees with Naruto's tips, and Naruto's actually able to find out how Sasuke's chakra is flowing due to sensing him. Until he begins sensing deeper, realizing Sasuke's chakra flow is kind of messy. Yeah, he's good at Taijutsu, Shuriken, and Kunai Jutsu. That's about it. And nothing else. At best, he has one ninjutsu, and that's about it. Naruto does mainly teach Sasuke how to flow his chakra, and for an hour, Sasuke begins trying to flow it properly. Then, for the next hour, he's actually able to learn how to tree walk to Naruto while having similar issues. Or used to have similar issues. Right now, he can use his chakra to its full extent, just not the Nine-Tails chakra to its full extent. Actually, he can't use it to its full extent because Nine-Tails still does not like Naruto, so probably would mess up the jutsu a bit. But when Sasuke is able to somewhat tree walk, Naruto even reveals water walking, which immediately he puts his palm on the ground, making a whole flood in the ground, first using Earth Release to basically make a hole and then fill it with water. Then Sasuke and Sakura begin trying to walk on it, Sasuke sinking multiple times, but Sakura gets the hang of it really fast. Now Sasuke and Sakura and Naruto are outside for a while as Kakashi and Jiraiya think they thought they went away. They hear Sasuke curse from outside as they look outside, seeing them water walking, which Jiraiya chuckled saying, did chuckle saying, I'm guessing Naruto thought they were weak. But they see Sakura do it perfectly, even tree walking. And Jiraiya's like, I see she's our gifted one, huh? Kakashi would nod, saying, I guess so. She's pretty smart. Jiraiya says, she's outmatching Naruto in intelligence, I'm impressed. As, well, Jiraiya hands Kakashi a score sheet of Naruto, as this was given by Hiruzen and Jiraiya. Well, this score sheet, calculating Naruto's abilities, Kakashi would basically say that these people are probably around the level of, well, not these people, just Naruto, probably in the level of around like just mid-Junin to mid-Jonin. Just in power alone. Which I would say, due to Naruto's arrogance, and just him being a little, just him being arrogant and kind of dumb at times, just sheer arrogance and occasional idiocracy. His power shoots down to be like high tuning at the most. At the most, it's just him messing himself up. That's about it. Kakashi would laugh, saying, and reportedly Iruka says that Sasuke's so arrogant that he doesn't think he needs to train at all. He barely even trains anything besides the only thing he doesn't train is ninjutsu and genjutsu. And apparently Naruto's his ninjutsu and genjutsu are incredibly high, even scoring higher than some average Uchiha. So, well, that's what they say at first. But then Sasuke began the thing of water walking, and Iruka would walk back in, seeing them watching, and Iruka's like, oh, what are you watching? They go outside and see Naruto teaching the team. With this, eventually, when Sasuke gets the hang of water walking, they go outside and announce who they are. Now, Sasuke and Sakura swore they heard the name Jiraiya somewhere. Eventually, they've been thinking harder, and they realize who it is. The legendary Sannin. That's Naruto's father. Or godfather, so to say, when Naruto corrects them, saying, he's my godfather. I don't know who my real parents are, but they're dead. That's what he knows is that they're dead. So Jiraiya doesn't really want to make Naruto feel bad by saying his mother died the day of his birth, or died. Well, all he can say is that Kushina died giving birth to him, and then that Minato died before he was born. Like, he didn't say their names, it says they died at this point in this time. It was a lie, obviously, but, well, if they both died on the day Naruto was born, he doesn't want Naruto having a chance of feeling guilty. So, yeah. But Naruto, nonetheless, would proceed to, pause. So it's like, they're kind of shocked that Naruto's godfather is a Sannin, and, well, Jiraiya's like, oh, I'm the only famous one here. Kakashi is Kakashi the copy ninja. Sakura and Sasuke asked about the title, and Kakashi would tell Sasuke don't get mad. Sasuke would think about it real quick, and before he can actually say the answer out loud, Kakashi would reveal his one Sharingan, his 3-to-1 Sharingan. Well, 3-to-1 Sharingan. Sasuke would ask Kakashi like an Uchiha or something, but Kakashi would basically say his friend died, and his friend died in front of Kakashi, and his friend actually asked Kakashi to take that one Sharingan that he had left, so the enemy didn't get it. Not wanting to reveal his business about Obito. Kind of fabricating it a bit. Sasuke is more or less glad that Uchiha gave it to Kakashi with consent, not Kakashi stole it. But still doesn't like that Kakashi and Uchiha has a Sharingan. With this, Kakashi's like, alright, so you guys gotta hang on chakra control already, so that takes away a lot of our training that we would need to do. So, well, I guess we can move on to different kind of training. But they more or less do the likes and dislikes first, with the likes and dislikes. Well, Naruto would say his likes are women, Jiraiya, toads, Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, and Shino. He mainly says those specific people because those are only friends. So, yeah. And training. He dislikes someone interrupting his research, as he calls it that as well. He doesn't like people interrupting his research, and doesn't like people going through his journal, as Jiraiya had done it before, and Jiraiya had realized that Naruto had gotten pretty pissed off, going up to the Two-Tails cloak through sheer rage. This becomes something that Naruto holds dear to him. It's kind of like an autobiography, but also a diary. Now, yes, some things are pretty boring, sure, but Naruto isn't only with Jiraiya. He goes off by himself. Goes off with Gamabunta or Gamatatsu or Gamakichi. Gamaken is his preferred summoning currently. But it doesn't like people just going through his business like it's theirs. It's not, and he prefers to keep it that way. So yeah. Pause real quick. So yeah, that's really all Naruto really does. And then his goal will currently become a sage. Yes, become a Hokage is like the goal in the long run, but I guess his dream could be become a Hokage. His goal is to become a sage. So yeah, Sasuke and Sakura, that's what that is, but Naruto would say you'll learn when you're stronger. So yeah. Now with this, Kakashi does actually just say like you're getting tested tomorrow. Naruto would decide something if it's the bell test, then they'll fail. Kakashi would say, oh, what makes you say that? He says, Sasuke's too arrogant, and Sakura, he says, she can't really do anything. Kakashi would say, wait, you seriously can't do a thing? Jiraiya's even talking like she can't do a thing. And she's like, wait, I can tree walk. Naruto says, so she's talking to Sasuke, and all he can do is one jutsu. And Sakura would decide, saying, then what should we do tomorrow then? Naruto would tell Kakashi to postpone, just basically try to postpone missions, and try to postpone anything that he can, and he'll train his team as hard as possible. Kakashi and Jiraiya agree, saying that, Jiraiya just says that he'll train Kakashi instead, because Kakashi's chakra seems pretty weak currently. It's just like Kakashi, but he can't really do anything about it. With this, we move on, and now we fast forward around a week. Sasuke had gotten a lot of lumber fire-style help from Naruto, and I'm going to find Sakura's chakra natures real quick. Well, Sakura can use earth and water. Those are natures that she can use, and she's able to learn a bit of water style from Naruto. With this, Sasuke is able to do around 3 jutsu, Sakura is able to do around 4. With this, they should need to do the bell test. Because Naruto had done it on them before. When they failed, he told them that the goal of it was teamwork. With this, they've been working on formations using their jutsu in combination. So, yeah. Now with this, we go on to just the bell test with Kakashi. Well, Naruto's bell test is against Jiraiya. Kakashi would do it for Sasuke and Sakura. But so for Sakura, and just for Kakashi to get another gauge of their skill, he sends out a clone to fight with him as well. Clone single-handedly will fight Jiraiya, because he's the only one able to somewhat keep up with Jiraiya. On with this, when Jiraiya would say start, well, Jiraiya already knows he can't hold back against Naruto or else he'll fail. Now, Sasuke and Sakura cannot help but just watch Naruto and Jiraiya go at it. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu. Something that this is a power they haven't even experienced before. Sasuke for a split second thought Naruto may be stronger than Itachi. So, keep in mind Naruto isn't, maybe like Kid Itachi at the most, but that's about it. But currently, Itachi would obliterate this Naruto with no effort. So Naruto nonetheless proceeds to basically just beat up. He thinks he's beating him dry when Jiraiya's basically just dodging hits. Like, barely dodging him, so Naruto thinks he's doing good. That's about it. But one thing that actually does shock Sasuke and Sakura is Naruto has done some training of his own. Some training, well, it's actually to unlock lightning release. You can only do one lightning jutsu. But this jutsu, well, you're caught in it, then, well, you would need to see medical attention immediately. Naruto informs Jiraiya with thousands of Naruto clones in midair, and by the time Jiraiya escapes, well, 2 clones have gotten ready, plus Naruto. Naruto ended up yelling, one yelling water style, the other clones would yell lightning style, saying, "Wave of inspiration." With this, suddenly, Naruto pause. Sorry about that. My baby brother was knocking on my door for no reason, just kind of punching it, and not really knocking. But the wave of inspiration attack is basically a combination of lightning and lightning and water release. Naruto basically puts out a giant wave of water that would cover the whole area. The clones would then put their hands in it, shooting lightning right through it, using one jutsu that they learned from that was with lightning release, being lightning beacon. This is just like just each of them shooting one giant beam of lightning through the water. Now with this, Jiraiya's caught up in it, being electrocuted, and before he's able to basically pull off the substitution, well, it does substitute, Jiraiya shocked the Naruto uses such a jutsu. In the midst of his shock, well, suddenly a sword came crashing down in front of him. As he jumped back, well, Naruto proceeded to basically slash at him, even using a bit of kunai. Now with this, well, Jiraiya was just being overwhelmed. He was just shocked for a moment, and that moment of shock is being taken advantage of. But the thing is, not all the clones in the air were taken out. They're more or less pushed or thrown away. And then we had the 2 that shot giant bolts of lightning at Jiraiya. But now we have Naruto, who is actually able to do a certain jutsu, or clone, that would basically fight with Jiraiya. Headhunter Jutsu. This, once the clones come out of the ground, pulling on Jiraiya, stopping him, trying to pull him down. Before Jiraiya's able to get them all off, the bells are snatched, and Naruto passes. Jiraiya would say that's pretty impressive, but if you're truly going to its full extent, then Naruto would have lost in seconds. Which Naruto does believe. As well, they don't want to destroy the area. Sasuke and Sakura just have their eyes wide open and their jaws dropped. But now that's like Kakashi with the clone that the Naruto left behind with them. They'll be fighting. As they've fighting with Kakashi, their teamwork's pretty good. And immediately Kakashi would say they pass, because, well, Naruto's goal was to take the belt from Jiraiya, while the team for Kakashi is more or less to take the belt. Well, not to take the belts. It's to, well, you can't take the belts, but also to, what was it? Take the bells, and we'll have teamwork, and or take the bells. So, yeah. So, I guess we can probably just go on to, like, what was it? I'll pause real quick so I can figure it out. So, Sasuke, Sakura, and, well, the Naruto alone all passed the test. And Kakashi already deemed Naruto a good teacher, saying that by the time, well, in Chunin exams, if he does take it, he may already pass as a Jonin and could already be put as a Jonin instructor. Because, well, the moment that the Kakashi and Jiraiya go Jiraiya had to do a mission. The moment Kakashi reports to Hiruzen, he does say that Naruto taught Sasuke and Sakura a few things, and they're already pretty high on the scale. They can already use multitude of jutsu, and it's pretty impressive. So now with this, we go on to, I guess, their 2-month time missions. Well, Naruto's a sensory ninja, so finding things isn't too hard. Well, he's not just a taijutsu ninja, he specializes in most things. So specializing in basically everything is pretty helpful for the missions. And with Naruto doing a few C ranks occasionally by himself, so it's pretty fun for Naruto. Mainly, just Sasuke thinks it's annoying. So yeah. So Naruto, well, I guess Sasuke would be the one to still ask like a high rank mission, but due to him probably being disrespectful to Jiraiya, Naruto, and Kakashi constantly, Sakura occasionally. Well, he's kind of having respect beaten into him over and over and over and over and over and over. Well, Sasuke's somewhat respectful now, but this leads to them more or less still getting a serious mission, being Land of Waves. But Jiraiya is not involved. He's doing a different mission. Because he kind of lives in the Hidden Leaf now, so he has nothing better to do. But missions or, like, he has nothing better to do besides missions or working a spy network. I don't know if I said this, but Naruto grew up with stories about the signing, and he doesn't know about Orochimaru being a bad guy currently. So, yeah. But, back to, just the Land of Waves mission. Tasuna would walk in, and she asked whether there was a bunch of kids and one random white-haired guy. But usually she explains it that they are students of the Sannin, of one of the legendary Sannin, which immediately Tasuna was like, alright then, let's go, I feel safe. When you hear that they're all students of the legendary Sannin, you think he wouldn't want the team? Sasuke already awakened once only Sharingan during the 2 months. Not during 2 months. He had awakened a 2-way Sharingan. Sakura was able to use it was a really strong. Some nature release and self. Well, all the nature releases are strong. It's just the way you use them. But Sakura is able to make a relatively harmless thing like water look strong, or at least to Sasuke it seemed weak, and she made it look strong. But with this, we go on to basically the Demon Brothers. When we encounter the Demon Brothers, well, Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi, they're all immune to the Genjutsu. It's so weak that they basically see right through it. Naruto himself is immune to it, Sasuke can see through it, and Sakura is basically immune to that, to this low-level Genjutsu. Tasuna just thinks it's weird there's a puddle in the middle of the day. But suddenly, Naruto ends up calling his palms together, saying, Earth Style, Earth Rampart. But suddenly, the puddle, where the puddle is, it immediately shoots into shoots up to be a hill. As the demons jump out, they fall down the hill, not realizing that they were now on a hill. But as they're falling down, Sakura would jump up and basically kind of like do basically like a double kick, and it hits them both in the face. So as they both hit in the face, they're knocked out, and Sasuke would grab the one who's both basically the most conscious, like someone using consciousness first, then puts them under Genjutsu, being able to view some of his memories of Gato. It's kind of just a coincidence. That's about it. But yeah, so sheer coincidence was just really fun. But with this, we kind of go on to just Zabuza. Now Naruto is kind of just walking. He would yawn, but immediately feel a dark presence in front of him. But as the sword is thrown at them, Kakashi doesn't say duck. Naruto just up in front of them, catching the blade with one hand, saying, "Wow, this thing's heavy." He uses 2 hands and says, "All right, this is better." Immediately, he begins flowing chakra through it, and the chakra is so dense that the whole thing begins cracking and cracking and cracking. Before Zabuza can take Naruto away from the blade, the whole blade shattered, and Naruto will end up using the shard to cut Zabuza across the side, and half the blade would come back together immediately. Zabuza jumps back, holding his side, as Haku throws Senbon and Naruto, but they're easily caught by Sasuke. Sasuke would say he'll handle the guy in the bushes, and Kakashi would say, "Alright then, Naruto, can you have a clone guard Tazuna?" Which a clone does. Haku would be fought by Sasuke and Sakura. The clone guards Tazuna, and Naruto fights. Naruto and Kakashi both fight Zabuza. So Zabuza eventually is able to use more of his blood to put the blade back together. But with this, what he does is mainly just attack them using his fully repaired blade, but now he's just slashing his side. It's pretty deep. And a pretty bad cut in his hand. But with this, what Naruto does is mainly detain Zabuza using his hair, and as Zabuza tries to escape, well, he's kicked right in the face by Kakashi and knocked out. As Haku tries to mainly jump away, Sasuke somehow matches his speed, very briefly at that. It had to use chakra to enhance it. As Haku didn't notice Sasuke caught up to him, he's elbowed right in the jaw, and knocked out. So, Naruto ends up removing Haku's mask, and realizes that Haku looks like a girl. But just means using sensory ninjutsu to feel for Haku's aura. In a certain shape he didn't want to see appeared, and he immediately stopped something saying that they should kill Haku, saying, "Nope, I don't want it, kill him." And suddenly Kakashi's like, "Well, no." So yeah. So with this, we can just move on to later waves. Zabuza and Haku are still detained, but eventually Naruto's able to get along with Haku a bit. After calling Haku a multitude of pretty compliments, and then telling Zabuza his intimidating aura was pretty impressive. So yeah. But with this, we maybe just see Naruto eventually like let them go the day before Gato was going to attack. He's actually able to somewhat convince them that Gato wouldn't pay them, and they more or less believe it through sheer charisma. But with this, we kind of have to go on to what was it? You have to go on to I keep thinking of words and I just don't say them and I mess it up. We move on to just Gato has been attacking. Well, not just hundreds of clones to help build the bridge, so it's built pretty fast. Gato has been attack. Well, they more or less have ones with TNT out. Guys with TNTs. But before they're able to more or less set it off, Sasuke throws kunai right in their bodies, killing them or paralyzing them, whatever you want. And Naruto Sakura proceeded to basically run through all of Zabuto's men. All of Gato's men like it's nothing. But then they're done. Well, Naruto even pulls hands into his pocket, and Sakura wasn't even scratched once. So, yeah. So, I guess we can just go on to, So I guess we can just go on to, like, So I guess we can just go on to them heading back to the Hidden Leaf. The Hidden Leaf, they have, like 2 weeks of just nothing to do. Naruto Sunoku no Hamaru, due to him having nothing to do, just trains Konohamaru. That's really it, just trains Konohamaru and Taijutsu. Because Konohamaru doesn't know how to use chakra properly. He eventually meets Udon and Moegi, and Moegi happens to have the control like Sakura to be able to use it for water walking and free walking. So not Sasuke. Moegi's able to walk up and down trees. Udon and Konohamaru are learning how to do it though. Pause real quick. So yes, Naruto is kind of just training Team Konohamaru. That would be his. I'm gonna give you guys a how to say it? A sneak peek. By the time Shippuden begins, Naruto will be a team leader for Team Konohamaru because he kind of lives with Jiraiya and is already kind of already OP. He doesn't really need to leave the Hidden Leaf for the time skip. I'm saying that right now. So I may have him be like the team leader for Team Konohamaru. But back to this. So by the time the Chunin exam starts, well, Jiraiya basically says that Naruto already would say yes. So there's no need to ask, but Kakashi has to ask. And Naruto for sure says yes. Sakura and Sasuke already knew he was going to say yes. But Konohamaru doesn't bump into Kankuro. He's busy training. So as Naruto just stumbles upon them and actually shoulder bumps Kankuro. He apologizes, but Kankuro grabbed Naruto by the collar. But Naruto headbutts Kankuro so hard, his head is slammed into the pavement, and it makes a small crater. As Kankuro doesn't get up, Konohamaru thinks that Naruto may have just knocked out Kankuro ice cold. Well, yes, he's out cold. So, with this, we more or less just would have Naruto, who would just proceed to just headbutt Kankuro. Then Gara emits Bloodlust, and Naruto flexes his own Bloodlust back. Which does end up scaring the absolute hell out of Gara. Because it's the Nine Tails Bloodlust, not just Naruto, the Nine Tails. So Gara is immediately terrified. And Shikaku doesn't want any business with Naruto. Or Shukaku doesn't want any business with Naruto. So he refuses to associate with the business. And immediately just tells Gara, like, back off, kid. You'll lose this fight immediately. There's no hope of winning at all. With this, when Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura head into the Chunin exam area, Rock Lee attacks Naruto instead of Sasuke. The fact that Naruto got to the academy a lot earlier. So Naruto's able to catch Rock Lee's fist the moment he got it. We'll go inside out, but so because this Rock Lee's fist is caught, and Rock Lee can't pull his fist away from Naruto, even though he puts his foot up on Naruto and tries to push off, but still the fist won't be let go of. Suddenly Naruto even begins squeezing Rock Lee's fist, and it begins getting crushed. Rock Lee eventually yelps in pain, and Naruto let go, saying, "Alright then, I win." Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura walk past Rock Lee, and Rock Lee appears from Naruto again, holding his hand, saying, "Come on, fight me." But Rock Lee just proceeds to get beat up by Naruto, because I don't know if this is the first recording or this recording, but I said that Naruto in power is kind of on par with not in power, but it's in Taijutsu. I'd put him at probably weightless Rock Lee, weightless Rock Lee with at least 2 gates, but with Taijutsu skills and his speed and strength alone, because he's trained by Sanin. Naruto more or less would use the speed and strength and technique against against Rock Lee, and Rock Lee is getting hands with disrespect. So, yeah. Disrespect given. So, guess we have to move on to the area. So Naruto can basically see through Genjutsu, so can Sasuke, and Sakura is not affected by Genjutsu in the slightest. And Naruto even tells him about Udon, Moegi, and Konohamaru, saying that when they're bored or when they have spare time, they should all train one of them. And they talk about how Moegi has as much talent as Sakura, which Sakura's kind of surprised by. Naruto went from saying she's useless to she has talent in 2 months, because she was given talent. That is about it. She learned, and got the talent. So, I guess that's it. With this, let's move on to just the written test. So Naruto's kind of on the level of genius of Shikamaru, so this is kind of easy. He fills it out, gives us the Ibiki, passes. Sasuke already copied off Naruto. Sakura is smart enough on her own, so yeah. Now, Sakura and Sasuke are both kind of trained in every way, including intelligence, so they actually finished a bit early, which was kind of impressive. So, we'll kind of move on to just Anko bursting in. When she bursts in, well, everyone would notice a certain reaction from Naruto. He turns bright red, and immediately just kind of being smirking. Immediately, Anko just asks why Naruto's smirking, and immediately realized where his eyes were looking. He threw a kun at him, but he just grabs it, saying, "Sorry, busy." He drags up to kunai and keeps staring. Anko would just say, she just buttons up her jacket, saying, "Alright, then let's go." She goes to the training ground, and Ibiki was shocked that Naruto just was able to more or less I say it. Something bit. I'm trying to think of the word. I keep something of the words. Fuck it. Alright. So we go the Force of Death. It's introduced. Then Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke get the Heaven Scroll. Now with this, we just move on to just them going up through the forest. Naruto knows better than to take a piss in a place called the Force of Death. So he would not do so. He wouldn't do so at all. He's arrogant, sure, but just has enough intelligence not to leave a group of people in a place called the Force of Death. So yeah, just common sense there. So with this, we're gonna just go on to we go on to just I guess fight versus Orochimaru. Well, Naruto quickly is able to tell Orochimaru when a snake attacks them, a giant one. And when the giant snake attacks, well, instead of Naruto turning from the Sasuke, what Sasuke does instead, well, just send a kunai right through it. So just basically, as it gets close enough, just a kunai right into its head with flaming chakra all around it. So that takes out the snake, and Sasuke and Orochimaru proceed to swap hands. Orochimaru is more or less impressed with Sasuke's growth. These 2 weeks, Sasuke had unlocked the two Tomoe Sharingan, and all he needs is Chidori training. But Sasuke and Orochimaru swap hands, and Orochimaru is able to get an advantage that's able to steal Sasuke's eyes. He's able to do so, and he thinks about doing that. But instead, goes to bite the neck. But due to him taking the harder route, by just even a 0.0 second difference, that's enough for Naruto to basically just go two tails, and give Orochimaru the one punch to the chest to cave it in. As Orochimaru sent flying through the air, he eventually lands on a tree branch, spitting out blood and throwing out blood. That was a punch that he's never felt before. Even Tsunade has given him gentler punches, and still they hurt. Pause real quick. So we kind of just move on to, I guess, just Orochimaru trying to get back up, but did him trying to get back up from the punch to the chest that caved it in. Well, Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto escape, with Sasuke not being curse mark. So yeah. But eventually, Orochimaru is able to get it, regurgitate himself, but finds Kabuto and Team Dosu. Well, finds Team Kabuto and finds Team Kabuto and Team Dosu. And now as a group, they attack Naruto. Will attack Team 7. When they do so, they met up with Rock Lee, and due to Rock Lee taking forever, Tenten and Neji had appeared. Now, Neji did listening to Naruto and Sasuke's 2 years threats, when suddenly, Naruto is able to sense a sound wave, or sense something in the air, that goes right towards Sasuke. Immediately spins around, pulling Sasuke out of the way, and would yell wind style, great breakthrough, pushing back all the sound, and in distance, they would end up seeing Team Dosu, Team Kabuto, and Orochimaru in distance. Naruto said this out loud, saying, "And here I thought I killed the legendary Orochimaru." No, here's the name of Orochimaru, that's the name of another Sannin. Naruto immediately searches his friends, saying that they should run. He'll hold them off as best as he can. Now, Orochimaru thinks that Naruto is just being overconfident, until suddenly he summons around 5,000 clones. And when he does this, he tells them all to run away as fast as they can. But Sasuke says he'll stay here and fight, but quickly Sasuke is hit in the back of the neck by something that knocks him out. This, he drops Sasuke in arms with Rock Lee, and says that he trusts Rock Lee to get there as fast as he can, and leave. Now, along the way, they have found a few teams, just Team Naruto, and they have like 1 or 2 scrolls that they don't need. Because that Team Neji had the scroll that they needed. Team Naruto had the scroll that Team Neji needed, so they throw them one of the scrolls that they didn't need, and say, "Here, take that, run." They do just that. As they run off, well, Naruto proceeds to, within Naruto and 5,000 clones, proceed to ambush Team Dosu, Team Kabuto, and Team Orochimaru. Sakura thinks he can blow away all the clones with his jutsu, but the moment he even tries to do so, well, just one clone using Gale Palm pushes back all that sound wave and sends Zaku flying off the tree, which just shocked Orochimaru. One clone is that strong. And it seems like Naruto didn't lose any chakra using this many clones. Instead, Naruto would end up doubling up, doing 10,000 clones now. This actually does take a toll on chakra, and all these clones begin fighting. Orochimaru, Kabuto, Yoroi, Tsurugi, Kin, Dosu, Zaku, Orochimaru, whatever 2 fodder Orochimaru had on his team. And with this, Naruto fights Orochimaru himself alongside a few hundred clones, maybe even 1,000. As these all been fighting Orochimaru, they're all holding back a lot. Orochimaru knows this because they're not using Two-Tail's cloak. Realizing that Naruto's in a life-threatening situation, if he doesn't go all out, he should just speak in Naruto's head, saying he's willing to give Naruto full control over at least 4 tails, but he can only stay in it for 30 seconds. Make him count. Naruto jumped away to a distant branch, and all his clones would be powering up to basically a one-tailed state, while Naruto himself will then pump up to 4 tails. As the one tails being pushing around Orochimaru, as he's shot in the air, while the 4 tails Naruto being charging up a tail beast bomb, and will the tail beast bomb charge up to full power. He has 5 seconds left until the beast bomb is shot off. At the last second, as it's shot off, the tail beast bomb is gone, and Jiraiya has seen a giant tail beast bomb in the air. He sensed a lot of Naruto, so he been running towards the area with Kakashi. The moment they see someone in the air and tail beast bomb, they're concerned. But suddenly the tail beast bomb explodes, creating a shockwave all across the hidden leaf. Now Naruto immediately passed out from this lack of chakra and fell over. But as he's falling off the branch, Kakashi would catch Naruto, and Jiraiya would look at the corpse falling from the sky, or he thought it was a corpse. Still, the corpse mouth open, and suddenly Orochimaru would pop out, but being very low on chakra, tried to crawl away. He realized that all the shinobi around were defeated, being part of Orochimaru's group, but didn't see Team 7 or any other teams around. When Naruto was barely left, with barely any chakra in his body, but would say that Naruto had the other teams evacuate before he fought. Jiraiya smiled, picking up Naruto, saying that he'll escort him to the battlegrounds. As he looks at Orochimaru, and sends Rasengan right into his spine. With this, Orochimaru summons Manda, and he tells Manda is wanted to reverse summon him away. Before Kakashi can even use Chidori to kill Manda, Manda does as Orochimaru asked. and he's reverse summoned away to the Snake Cave. By the way, Snake Sage had never seen Orochimaru in such a pitiful state. But when he hears it from some kid, the Snake Sage is like, really, a kid did that to you. And Mondi even laughs at him. But Orochimaru says that this kid was trained by another Sannin, trained from birth, from what he knows about Naruto. He knows that Naruto lived in Hidden for a long time, so he assumed it was by birth. But now it's been for around 7 years. You'll hear that some other Sannin, Jiraiya's kind of claimed as the strongest Sannin. He kind of say that because he's been offered the position of Hokage multiple times over. I'm sure almost 4 times now. So that says something about his power in itself. So with this, who was it? Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Naruto says Jiraiya's Jiraiya. I'm assuming Jiraiya's like godson or grandson or something. And if you have common sense, you can tell that Jiraiya's probably stronger than Orochimaru. So, okay, that explains it, but still, this kid. Orochimaru goes goes in depth about how strong he knows that Naruto is, and he's able to control 4 tails with the 9 tails power, which is even shocking in itself. So yeah. Now with this, we kind of move on to what was it? I guess Naruto's probably just brought over to where the tower is. They're over there because he's unconscious and they don't want to leave him. Well, Jiraiya is able to basically just send out a Naruto clone. Well, it makes a clone that does transformation and then it turns into Naruto and brings Naruto there. Naruto eventually wakes up, dispersing the clone and heads in the tower himself. But, well, Iruka's about to leave the tower to look for Naruto himself, but he sees Naruto approaching the tower, covered in a bit of burns due to using the Forta's cloak, and with low chakra levels, which is shocking. As he walks inside, he begins coughing a bit, saying, "Alright, I'm fine, no worries." They throw the scroll, they catch it, they open that scroll, summoning Kakashi, and Kakashi's like, Naruto, you made it here safe. Sorry about that weird way to say Naruto, it was just stumbling me, for no reason. Naruto eventually is able to tell Kakashi that he's sound currently, just tired. He goes to his room and sleeps. And on his room, Gara does what she tried to break in, but Kurama was able to project himself and he's able to basically tell Shikaku and Gara to buzz off. And they do just that. They're not going to disobey the 9 tails. They know better than that. So with this, we go on to what was it? I guess preliminaries, but well, no. There's 5 people missing, so I guess we're gonna skip over preliminaries. I'm just gonna gather some opponents for a fight. Pause. I guess the fights that could happen for the finals, but I'm not gonna go over that yet. We're gonna go over the one with the training. So Naruto would proceed to train Team Konohamaru, but Jiraiya joins in as well. And then Kakashi would give Sasuke Chidori training, which he picks up relatively fast, even awakening a 320 Sharingan in one eye. Well, eventually when Jiraiya takes over training Team Konohamaru, he proceeds to master the 9 tails power up to the 4 tails. But now onto the preliminaries, or not the preliminaries, the finals. Well, fights would be Shino versus Sasuke. Now Sasuke wins easily. And then we have Kankuro versus Tenten. Kankuro wins. Sakura versus Ino. Sakura obliterates. Shikamaru versus Temari. Shikamaru still loses the same way he did in canon. Then Hinata versus Neji. Hinata loses still. And then we would go on to I think about this real quick. So Hinata loses to Neji. Gara versus Rock Lee. Gara still loses, but he got excellent with the training, but Gara barely won. Like, if I say he loses, he wins, but barely wins. The way he wins is because Rock Lee's body gave out. It's not that Gara crushed his body, it's just Rock Lee's body quickly just gave out. So, yeah. And Gara didn't have enough energy to crush Rock Lee's bones. So, yeah. And Kiba versus Choji. Kiba wins. Just sort of tiring out Choji and hitting him in the face as hard as he can, knocking him out. So now, the first fight of the finals is Naruto versus Gara. Naruto's already strong as is, so he's basically the first boss of the semifinals. He's the first boss of it. So if you're able to pass him, then you're able to proceed. But Naruto versus Gara. Gara's getting the hands of disrespect. This Naruto is basically kind of a perfect, like a semi-perfect in Turkey, semi-perfect, not full perfect. But he's able to use the four tails at full power without losing control, and able to use the fifth tail, but barely, for not more than 10 seconds. So yeah, we can move this over here now. So with this, Naruto's somewhat able to, I guess. Oh no. Well, compared to Naruto's power in base form, well, I'd probably put him at like Valley of the End Sasuke at full power. Like he beat Naruto, but I'm not fully sure if Naruto's holding back. Well, he wasn't going like four tails or anything, so he was technically forced to hold back. But that was the extent to his full power. Well, Sasuke was using his full power to beat that extent. So I'd put Naruto at, like, in base form, probably actually surpassing. Well, actually, in the beginning of the Chunin exams before the 1 month even began, Naruto's already able to compare to Rock Lee using gates. Then, because he had a month of training against the Nine Tails Chakra, and then with himself. So I'd probably put Naruto probably probably Valley and Sasuke. So yeah, this is just him in base form using taijutsu, barely any ninjutsu, just using his regular shinobi abilities minus ninjutsu. So yeah. So Naruto basically just begins fighting Gara. Gara's getting beaten pretty easily. Eventually, Gara begins losing control. She's trying to do not lose control. But still, he loses control, and he is sent out as Shukaku. But Shukaku doesn't want to fight Naruto. And Shukaku's kind of nervous to fight Naruto due to the fact that he's so strong. But then when Shukaku kind of begins pushing Naruto back a bit, well, Naruto immediately begins firing a chakra cloak, saying he'll save the hidden leaf from their enemies. Basically, his dream is to become Hokage, and he'll never let the hidden leaf fall prey to such semi-actions. With this, Naruto immediately powers up to his Four Tails Cloak, which immediately scares Shukaku because now Shukaku's being overwhelmed in chakra levels at least. Naruto I elbowed something. So I'm trying to grab something and elbow on TV. Fuck. Alright. So, Naruto would end up, he palms Shukaku in the chest, and with that, Shukaku's being immediately sent flying back. Naruto would just jump up and basically just fire Toby's bomb down on Shukaku over and over until he's obliterated just multiple times over. He's destroying him at 100%. It is not funny. So yeah. Now with this, well, Gara escapes this relatively unscathed, but still is beaten. Naruto actually does reveal what he remembers of his childhood, basically saying that he was bullied constantly, and which led him to live with Jiraiya. But he's only here in the Hidden Leaf again because, well, he needs love. Humans need love, care, and compassion to survive. And Gara here's just well, I don't need it, I'm strong. Naruto would say Gara is strong, but having someone to care for makes you stronger. And two people care about Gara very much. He's Smart and Conqueror running at Naruto. Quickly, just a simple hand wave with using a bit of wind release sends them flying in the air. But still, he says that those two care for Gara greatly, and Gara needs to act like he cares for them back. That's what makes him stronger, and that's what Gara needs. Gara does know Smart and Conqueror are scared of him, but still, them running to save him, they do care about him. Gara for the first time would smile. Well, for the first time recent, he smiles. Naruto ends up rubbing his head before putting him in Genjutsu, and then walking away. Smart and Conqueror are caught, and he says that Gara's asleep. Just don't wake him up. Before they turn around, they're both chopping back the neck very swiftly, being knocked out. And Naruto then dashes up into the stands, right at the gate. Well, not at the gate, but at the seal where Hiruzen is. We see the first two Hokage fighting Hiruzen. Naruto ends up looking at Jiraiya, both nod, saying, well, Naruto says who he's going to handle. He says he's going to handle Hashirama. And Jiraiya says he's going to handle Orochimaru. Naruto ends up charging with full power Sengon he recently learned in the 1 month, thumbing it into the barrier, blowing it away. Now this he dashes right towards Hashirama, begins fighting him, because he just slams right through all the wood release and is fighting him, and tells Hiruzen that he should just fight Tobirama, and tries to fight Orochimaru. So Orochimaru and Jiraiya swap hands, and it's a little stronger Jiraiya than canon. I put him at Pain Arc Jiraiya in power, so powerful nonetheless. And Jiraiya, due to Orochimaru wanting to kill Hiruzen, well, Jiraiya is not gonna let Orochimaru off the hook with no consequence. Guess he's gonna get the hands, but now he's going to get the Sage Mode. Jiraiya will summon Mom Pa Toad, and now they begin channeling Sage Chakra into into Jiraiya, and Jiraiya ends up beating Orochimaru pretty easily. Well, Hashirama deemed Naruto pretty powerful for a kid, and asks what clan he belongs to. Naruto immediately says his name is Naruto Uzumaki, the Hidden Leaf, and he's going to be the next Hokage. Tobirama can't help but chuckle, while saying, "This brat embodies the will of fire," and hopes that Naruto will become a strong Hokage. Naruto would immediately step back a bit, and this confuses the ones on the battlefield. Naruto immediately begins going into KCM 0, then channeling Sage energy through his body, saying this should give him some form or a way to use Sage Mode like power. He wouldn't be able to use the techniques, but still, he'd be able to get the strength of a Sage Mode and the ninjutsu enhancement. With this, he enters slight Sage Mode. It's not imperfect, but it's not perfect. With this, he begins fighting Hashirama, and Hashirama actually comparable in physical strength, which is actually pretty impressive. Which probably greater than Hashirama. And his ninjutsu is able to burn through a lot of Hashirama's wood. Eventually, Naruto ends up charging Patel Beast Bomb and is in the air. Now, this here is Hiruzen, and Jiraiya would be kicked in the air by a clone. Hashirama is immediately blown away by the giant Beast Bomb that Naruto had charged up. And, it blows up the kunai that was in his head, which immediately makes him de-summon. Yes, so to say, I guess de-reanimate, or send him back to the afterlife. But the words he departs Naruto with is, "Become a better Hokage than me." Hiruzen is somewhat able to defeat Hashirama by snatching the kunai out of his head and then tearing the seal off of it, which just sends Tobirama back to the afterlife. And Orochimaru is detained by Jiraiya. Now, as Jiraiya is actually arresting Orochimaru, suddenly someone in a mask appears. Two people in a mask, but one of them seems to be missing an arm. Two guys in a mask try to slam down kunai and Jiraiya's back. But suddenly, one of them, the one with two arms, is suddenly palm strike in the chin. The one with one arm, supposedly, almost gets a kunai to the head, but he jumps away. Hiruzen isn't as out of chakra as he is in canon, so he's fighting the guy with one arm. The guy with one arm seems to be a lot stronger than Hiruzen, which is shocking. But Naruto immediately was charged at the guy, blocking one of the hits that would actually push Hiruzen back a lot. But then, Naruto's flaring up his chakra, and, begins going into the four-tail state, fighting the man with one arm. So it was seemingly on equal terms. Seemingly. The man eventually tears off his mask, briefly. Wasn't it for Naruto actually able to dodge whatever he's going to pull out, grabbing his head and pushing him back. Which makes him drop his mask, and the hood falls over. Just the wind brushing by. To Hiruzen's horror, it's Danzo. He's helping Orochimaru. And with this, Hiruzen would immediately get flared up, summoning Enma, and Enma and Hiruzen begin fighting Danzo at full power, and begin obliterating him. Danzo tries to pull out his other arm. Suddenly, Danzo ends up dashing by, with his arm being severed, as he just tries to pull it out for some reason. It doesn't confuse Naruto, but if it's as dangerous as he thinks, the arm needs to be gone. The arm is cut off by a Naruto clone, then the real Naruto stabs out his other Sharingan. Now with this, Danzo falls to the ground, holding his eye in pain, with his one arm, and Naruto holds on to the arm still covered in bandages. Now this, Danzo's immediately kicked in the face by Hiruzen, being knocked out, and Hiruzen arrested him. Now with this, the Hokage ceremony would be held soon, because, Hiruzen still has to retire. Danzo's put in Hindley's prison, the Root are disbanded, and Naruto does find a certain interesting thing about the Root. There seems to be someone around his age in the Root. Maybe a little bit older, but not by a lot. The person, being Sai. But there's two other Anbu members, or members of Roots that are pretty important, being Torune and Fu. I'm pretty sure his name is Fu. So, Fu and Torune are also part of the Root, and they're put back in their respective clans, but, they're part of Danzo's elite. They're kind of his guards, which does actually associate them with his crimes as, well, accomplices. They don't give them jail time. Instead, they're going to give them certain tasks that they need to complete. Tune is tasked with training Shino, and Fu is tasked with training Ino. So yeah, now they do need to find a fourth Hokage or fifth Hokage. But isn't Jiraiya basically hearing Naruto say he wants to be Hokage so badly over the next year, not over the next, but for the last 7 years? Well, Jiraiya somewhat got the influence and appeal of Hokage, and did find out why not find out, but he had realized Hokage was somewhat pretty cool. But still, with this, well, he's not really too keen on it. But not to just tell Jiraiya, like, it'd be the coolest thing ever. Like, Jiraiya could have all the power he wants, and plus some girls would get with him. But he was gonna get any girls' attention when he became Hokage when he was younger. He's gonna like tons of attention, tons of it. And Jiraiya immediately says he's gonna become Hokage. And because Naruto knows how Jiraiya thinks a lot more, and knows that women will get him to do mostly anything. So yeah. Jiraiya announces he'll become the fifth Hokage. And the reason Tsunade would actually come back to Konoha. She gets word of Jiraiya being the fifth Hokage. Him, of all people, wants to be Hokage? Really? Shocking. She gets the hidden leaf. And, well, she sees Naruto up there with Jiraiya, putting his coat on him. And even giving him the cap. As this took place over the span of, like the whole Tsunade retrieval arc. As Jiraiya gets his Hokage attire together, Jiraiya will make a great speech to Konoha, saying that, basically, he hopes that Konoha will be able to rise to greater power, and he'll hope to lead them to the best of his ability, and that he'll never do them wrong, and that he will always be on Konoha's side. And well, people actually vote for him a lot more because, well, first off, he beat Orochimaru and detained him in prison, beat Kabuto, detained him in prison. Then, well, he trained the legendary Naruto Uzumaki, who defeated the One-Tailed Cherokee, One-Tailed itself, and defeated Danzo Shimura. So, Naruto is pretty high in power currently. Well, high standing in the village. And Jiraiya, just to actually feed Naruto's ego, because Naruto actually say this, he announces that when he decides to retire, the sixth Hokage will be Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's like, wait, what? How can you announce that so suddenly? Jiraiya chuckles, saying, just so people are on your side when I die, or retire, one of the two. He smiles, rubbing Naruto's head. And Jiraiya to say that he will not actually be going into Hokage office for the next few months. He'll be doing some special training. So he does leave the village and insert in someone's hand. As he did feel Tsunade's chakra enter the village, as he points out in the crowd saying, leave the village, and Tsunade goes under Sannin's hands. But until he comes back. Tsunade would immediately be shocked that Jiraiya noticed she was there, but Jiraiya suddenly disappears. And everyone is staring at Tsunade. It was just completely random and sudden. She had tried to leave, but now just Johnny push up to the Hidden Leaf building and putting the Hokage cap on her, saying the current fifth Hokage until Jiraiya returns. So yeah, she had no choice. She was kind of forced into it, and actually asked Jiraiya and Naruto what happened. Not Jiraiya, I mean, asked Hiruzen and Naruto what happened. Well, first off, Naruto introduced himself to Tsunade, but yeah. Now, this, well, one thing that catches Tsunade's eye is that Jiraiya constantly talks about how beautiful Tsunade is, and says that Tsunade is exactly 106 centimeters, which she does hit him in the face for, because her fist using a four-tailed cloak to grab the punch. Well, only on his arm at least, but he had to say why Jiraiya loves her. She's a very beautiful and compassionate woman. But she's shocked that the nurse said loves, not crushes or likes. He loves her? No, Naruto doesn't know he shouldn't have said that, but still, he did. Tsunade's kind of just concerned now, like, what the hell does he mean love? Before she can get any more out of him, he leaves, saying that he feels something was off, he's going to go look at it. Naruto would end up walking through Konoha, and then go to where the chakra feels off. He then sees Itachi and Kisame fighting Might Guy, Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma. Before Kakashi's put in a Genjutsu, suddenly Itachi to dodge an attack that leaves a giant cut across his body. He dodges, he would then see claw marks. He sees the claw marks. Well, he looks at who did it, seeing Naruto with his hands covered in just the red chakra. Kisame attacks Naruto, hoping to get his chakra. Before Kisame even knows it, Naruto's behind him with the kunai in the back kind of right to his spine, and kind of just stabs it right there, or tries to, but somehow it reaches at Naruto, biting. Naruto holds open Samehada's mouth, and suddenly, lightning chakra sent all through Samehada, and, well, even Kisame's hand, making Kisame's hand paralyzed and dropping Samehada. This Kisame's arm is kicked and broken. Like it was kicked full force by Naruto, and his arm is horribly broken. Before he can grab Samehada, he's kicked in the water. As Kisame jumps in to grab it, well, a fourth grade my guy punches Kisame right in the spine as hard as he can. Like, as hard as he can. Completely paralyzing Kisame from the waist down. Kisame's legs are grabbed and he's thrown in the air, and slammed in the ground. He's unconscious by now. But she realized that Naruto quickly changed the playing field, realizing that, well, him winning is now pretty low. As he tries to escape, he encounters Sasuke, but quickly Sasuke would fade away from existence somehow. He thinks it's a genjutsu from Kurna or Kakashi or Naruto even, but walks away. Not that was a genjutsu from Sasuke. We see two bright red lights. Bright red lights. Suddenly Sasuke appears in front of them, yelling, "Chidori!" Itachi barely dodges it, hitting Sasuke in the face, but Sasuke like would swing out his fist, his arm suddenly grabbed, and broken. Itachi ends up yelling in pain, jumping back, then he's punched in the gut by Kakashi, and my guy kicks him across the face before he can even dodge it. This Itachi's knocked out, very briefly. But by the way, the Sasuke wasn't a genjutsu, it was more like just like a, kind of like a really bad clone, or really just a really kind of weird clone. That's really what it was. Not genjutsu. Yeah, so Itachi, well, everyone thinks he's knocked out, but quickly his hand would move, and the point to Itachi was escaping. But suddenly, Naruto would end up doing a few jutsu. I'm going to pause real quick. So Naruto is briefly able to capture Itachi using clones and just sheer Nine-Tails power. When he's close enough, he's able to use his clones to use a certain seal that takes up a lot of chakra for him, because he's using it to full ability, mixing it with a different kind of power. The way he uses it, not the way the jutsu he uses, is the 5-element seal, which tampers with Itachi's chakra. Now Itachi's chakra is kind of being messed with now, which actually does trigger sickness, making him cough up blood and pause. But suddenly, he's put under arrest by Naruto. Naruto grabs his wrist and hits him in the face very swiftly, knocking him out. And this is the real Itachi, so he can't escape it. With this, Itachi's put in Hidden Leaf prison, and Sasuke would thank Naruto for catching Itachi. But Naruto would just thank Sasuke for being a distraction. That's really it. With this, Itachi's in prison now, and Kisame's put in the Hidden Leaf hospital because my guy kind of put him into a coma just through putting him in such severe shock he's not coming out of it. So my guy put Kisame in a coma. But Naruto, well, he's friends with a certain person who would know what to do with Samehada. Now with this, he's able to contact a certain person, and this person appears in the Hidden Leaf prison. Well, first Kisame is kind of nervous, but he was welcomed in. Well, he was welcomed in by Kakashi. The episode would then tell Naruto, well, not tell, but ask Naruto what he wants, and Naruto would throw him Samehada, saying Kisame is in a coma, so here's a sword. Then he stops with a laugh, saying, Kisame Shigaki's in a coma. Naruto ends up putting my guy, saying, yeah, and this guy paralyzed him. This isn't like Zabuza said, like from the neck down or waist down. And my guy would say, oh no, I didn't bother checking. Naruto would say, well, the area down here was where his spine shattered, so I'm guessing from the waist down. No, Zabuza can't help but laugh, picking up Samehada, and he's summoning Kubikiri Bocho back to the Hidden Mist, and keeping Samehada for himself. Samehada is actually able to keep up with, not keep up, but he's able to somewhat allow Zabuza to wield him. But with this, well, Zabuza would thank Naruto, immediately leaving Hidden Leaf for Haku. And now we fast forward around the time skip. Well, not around the time skip, I guess around the time that Sasuke would leave the Hidden Leaf. Well, it's on 4, Kimimaru, Jugo, Kari, and Suigetsu. Well, they announced an attack on the Hidden Leaf prison. Well, not announced, they caused an attack on the Hidden Leaf prison with Jugo scaring away Ibiki and almost killing him. But with this, well, they are able to break out Orochimaru. Kimimaru is able to calm down Jugo, and they all escape. Kimimaru killed a few guards to get to Orochimaru and Danzo and everyone else. With this, they allowed the escape to happen. But, well, the strong shinobi that could have detained them all were asleep or on missions, so by the time they're all awake and ready to go, everyone's gone. And, well, before they attacked, Sasuke was asked to like, go with them. Like, hey, you want to go with us? Because, well, we heard about Itachi. You must be feeling horrible that you weren't able to help with your brothers, like, their brothers at rest. You must feel horrible. You must feel awful. We can give you the power to defeat him on your own and even kill him. Now, with this, they get Sasuke mentally, and with this, he's able to, not able to, he does, at least that means he's able to, he does end up going to, well, join their side. He's part of the escape. Is he able to put Anko under like a 5-second genjutsu before she breaks out of it? When she breaks out, well, everyone's gone. No, Naruto does realize Sasuke is gone, but there's no signs of a struggle, no signs of a fight. Just signs of, well, nothing. Sasuke, but this Sasuke must have went on his own. His house is still in good order. His bed looks like he went normally. There's no sign that was a struggler of any sort. So Sasuke must have betrayed them. Now Naruto says this out loud. He feels horrible about it, and Jiraiya isn't aware of any of this going on. Not aware at all. He's on Mount Miboku, mastering Sage mode. Eventually, Naruto ends up knowing where he is. So around an hour before the mission for the Sasuke retrieval mission, Naruto ends up summoning Gamakichi. Gamakichi first summons with Naruto to Mount Miboku. Naruto ends up with training, which does actually make upset Gamabunta and Fukusaku and Jiraiya and Ma Toad. That's what's so important to enter Sage mode training. And Naruto would yell that Orochimaru was broken out of prison by basically the hidden sound, and Sasuke went with them. I was like, he was kidnapped. And I was like, no, he reportedly went willingly. But on the other side, we caught Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki. And Jiraiya's like, okay, that's a lot of ups and downs. You caught two of the most dangerous members of the Akatsuki, but also but very, 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 very dangerous shinobi escaped. I don't know how I feel about that. Now, Jiraiya does ask if he needs to come back, but Naruto's like, no, the village is actually way, like, they want you to stay here, because, well, when I told them what you learn how to do, I told them that you could probably beat the whole team that broke out of Toronto by yourself with no effort. So they want you to master this power beyond mastery. Jiraiya can't but smile, saying, alright then, tell someone to take care. Also, Naruto's like, oh yeah, she gave me this letter before I went. He throws Jiraiya the letter, Jiraiya opens it, and he begins reading it. Now, Naruto doesn't know what's inside the letter, he just knows that Tsunade told Naruto to give it to Jiraiya. Now, basically, the whole gist is that Naruto, well, basically her telling Jiraiya that Naruto said that Jiraiya loves her. Which she does to stun her, but she actually asks Jiraiya, like, well, if you love me, then, well, try not to be a pervert, and when you get back, I may give you a chance if you prove it. Jiraiya would sigh, saying, Naruto, your blessing and a curse. He smiles, and reads the letter out loud when Naruto had left. All the male toads began cheering on Jiraiya. Ma Toad would say, so you needed a 12-year-old to help your love life, right? Jiraiya says, phrasing it like that doesn't help me, but I guess so. But yeah. So Naruto more or less is given the rank of Jonin due to Hiruzen's recommendation for Naruto fighting Hashirama, and it's not to Hiruzen he fought Hashirama and is still alive and actually pushed him back a bit, plus beat Orochimaru the first time that he was in the village. Well, he's given the rank of Jonin. And then we have Naruto assembling his own team. Now keep in mind, Jiraiya trained Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon, plus Naruto as well. Konohamaru can do Rasengan currently, and they all have chakra control. Konohamaru has Rasengan. Moegi's able to do water style, and Udon's able to do fire style. They're currently stronger than most Genin around, so it's pretty impressive. I'm telling you that right now because Konohamaru's going to be the one who will go on the mission, not Udon or Moegi. Then we have the original team, but adding on Shino. At this, they end up leaving. But Rock Lee is mainly put on standby, saying he needs to go to the village because they're more or less in danger. Which Rock Lee agrees to, so yeah. As they begin leaving, well, they keep running. Eventually Sakura ends up joining up with them because she's already on a mission, but when the village was attacked, she eventually joins up with them. But the third thing, on the Baton 4, and Kimaru and Jugo, Suigetsu, and Karin. So that's like an additional 8, I'm pretty sure. Suigetsu, Karin, Jugo, and Kimaru. So there's 8 of them. There's Naruto, Naruto, Shino, Neji, Kiba, Shikamaru, Choji, Sakura, Konohamaru. I think that's about it. So I guess it's 8v8. The first person to fight is Choji and Jirobo still, and Jirobo still ends up losing Choji the same way as in canon. Choji didn't go all out. He didn't need the last pill. He needed the one before that. Choji's a bit stronger in this one due to him having trained a lot harder during the 1 month because he actually had to fight in the finals. He didn't have to wait. He needed to train, and actually led Choza training Choji. Next fight would be against Sakon and Ukon versus Kiba. Kiba's also a bit stronger because he needed to fight in the finals, and he beat Choji because he's a bit stronger than Choji, at least in endurance wise. So with tenacity and endurance, he's actually able to overwhelm Sakon and Ukon, but he still needed a bit of help. Coincidentally, Naruto had left behind a few clones. So these clones, well, first off, one's bringing Choji and Jirobo back to the Hidden Leaf. Jirobo for imprisoning, and Choji just for medical attention. As one of the clones was heading back because they're able to deliver Choji a lot faster. They encountered Kiba, about to be killed by Sakon and Ukon. Suddenly, Sakon gets kunai right in the throat, which allows Kiba to actually begin fighting Ukon on his own terms and win, but barely. Then we go to Tayuya versus Shikamaru. Or no, Kidomaru versus Neji. Neji's a bit stronger because he had to fight, prepare for the finals. But he had to also see how Yonto was training, realizing that she was getting a lot stronger really fast. So he had to train even harder. And train harder than he ever did in his whole life. And Neji before the mission has been learning how to use the gates. You know how to use the gates? Well, he's able to do the first gate. The first gate is what he uses against Kidomaru. He uses the gate against Kidomaru. He doesn't get the whole spear through the chest or the arrow through the chest. Instead, he catches it and kind of harpoons Kidomaru with it. So yeah, he kills Kidomaru, but passes out due to chakra exhaustion. Yeah, Kidomaru didn't, he was shocked that in the split second his own attack was used to kill him. Then Tayuya versus Shikamaru. Well, with this Shikamaru, there's still clones around of Naruto. Because, he has sent one back to, deliver Neji to the Hidden Leaf Hospital, same as Kiba. The one that Naruto had killed Sakon with, well, Ukon had killed that clone while it was in midair, so, yeah. But the one clone that finished delivering Choji to the Hidden Leaf Hospital, or the one that finished delivering Drobo or Choji, whatever one came back first, well, delivered Shikamaru, and then the one that encountered no, they didn't deliver Shikamaru, delivered Neji. The one that encountered Shikamaru, well, broke him out of Genjutsu, which allowed him to actually defeat all the giant Genjutsu monsters, and then defeat Tayuya, because he was never under a Genjutsu. When he was, it was broken by Naruto, which, well, it's pretty impressive. So the next fight is going to be Sakura versus Kari. With Kari, well, Sakura actually obliterates her. She's able to outmaneuver the chains, and well, she hasn't gotten much training from Tsunade, but she's gotten told on how to train, just to work out her body a bit, so she's going to be able to get used to it. Decently, she's physically stronger, actually able to get a good hit in on Kari, as she does send her sliding back. Kari starts sliding back. Well, suddenly she's surrounded by tons and tons of, explosive kunai. She's able to surround herself in chains as they blow up, but she releases the chains. She's punched right in the face by Sakura, full force, and knocked out. So yeah. But what was it? I guess we'll probably go on to the next fight, which is Suigetsu. I'm gonna put Shino versus Suigetsu. So Shino nonetheless can put bugs in Suigetsu without Suigetsu noticing it, which can drain a chakra significantly. So Suigetsu and Shino being fighting basically not on even terms. Shino's kind of obliterating because he's trained by Tsurune currently. So he's been getting Anbu level training for a few days or weeks now. But Fu and Tsurune, their minds were kind of cleansed via Sharingan Genjutsu, so they're kind of safe right now. But yeah. So with this, Well, no Sasuke, I mean. Shino's able to beat Suigetsu to do destroying his chakra via bugs. Then we go to the next fight, which is Jugo. Now, Konohamaru was the one telling Naruto to go ahead, he'll fight Jugo himself. Konohamaru had learned Shogun Jutsu and Rasengan. Put a pause real quick, sorry. So, Konohamaru was able to use clones to avoid Jugo. Even when Jugo's using like a half transformation, well, the clones still trick him. Konohamaru takes advantage of the half transformation, realizing that Jugo is barely in control of it. So he eventually pisses off Jugo to the point where Jugo eventually goes full transformation, but was able to avoid him the whole time. Eventually, Jugo begins reverting back to like his base form. With taking advantage of Jugo being tired, Konohamaru will form his Rasengan with clones, send that Rasengan right into Jugo's chest, sending him flying and unconscious. Konohamaru, using so much clones, had passed out from chakra exhaustion, and Naruto had been watching this the whole time, letting Sasuke and Kimimaro get away for a bit. But Naruto's just pretty damn fast, so he gets up to them relatively quickly. He didn't want to leave Konohamaru behind, but didn't trust a clone to not intervene. So, yeah. After this, Naruto disappeared, right like one tree behind Kimimaro and Jugo. Not Jugo, I mean, behind Kimimaro and Sasuke. As he keeps on chasing them, well, eventually he ends up seeing Kimimaro turn around and go on the attack. But suddenly we see Shino appear and grab Kimimaro right by the throat. Well, I don't know. If I said Shino passed out through chakra exhaustion earlier, my bad. Shino doesn't really lose chakra using bugs at all. He doesn't really do so. So I guess it was light work. Like nothing important happened. She was able to avoid all attacks. Well, with Shino's Anbu training, avoiding Suigetsu's water gun is nothing. Like, it is nothing. So, yeah. Suigetsu was taken down due to Shino draining his chakra. But when Kimimaro turned around, he was grabbed by the throat by Shino and sent flying in the air. But Naruto realized one thing. Shino's gloves are missing. Or at least one of them is. He realized it was in Shino's mouth, but then noticed his hand was purple. And Kimimaro's body had recently turned fully purple, and it fell to the ground as a corpse. Now, Shino had sighed, saying, so violent. Toruno's a little lucky he talked me into getting these bugs. They're violent as hell. He sighed, and he just told Naruto to go get Sasuke. Naruto ran as fast as he could, because he ran ahead. He sent a familiar chakra. Suddenly, he's punched right in the chest, full force, and sent flying back. He lands on the ground, coughing up a little bit of blood, and looks ahead, seeing two grown men in front of him, or three. The three grown men being Shin Uchiha, Danzo Shimura, and Kabuto. Naruto ended up sighing, saying, damn it, this is gonna suck, isn't it? Kabuto would say that they're gonna murder Naruto. Naruto immediately just goes into his mindscape, begging Karma for chakra, like saying, "Can I please control you to my full ability? I cannot live without this." Karma would say that he's willing to push Naruto up to 7 tails, and that's it. But Naruto will not be in control. Karma will be, but he respects Naruto a little bit just to chase his friend to this extent. And plus Naruto is kind of funny. It's funny to watch Naruto's life in Karma's eyes. So through Naruto providing entertainment, he will allow Naruto to, well, just watch, not be in control, but watch. Naruto agrees to this. Suddenly, he shoots into 6 tails and dashes right at Kabuto. Kabuto can avoid this. He's punched right in the chest, being killed on impact, or he thought so. Kabuto's isn't flying. His ribs are kind of like they're avoiding his organs. Just his ribs are all broken, and his chest is kind of caved in, but his organs are very much protected. With Kabuto would end up hitting the ground with blood coming from his mouth. Danzo realized that Naruto's gone again, and his back is suddenly slashed wide open. But Danzo had to use Izanagi to disappear behind Naruto and try to stab him in the back. Suddenly Danzo's face is slashed severely, making him fall to the ground with blood pouring out of his face. Before he knows what happened, he stomped right on the ground. Now it's Shin versus Naruto, or Shin versus Kurama. Kurama would laugh, saying, This is who was beating Naruto, these weaklings. I'm disappointed. So with this leads to Kurama using a bit of Fire Style Jutsu, yelling Fire Style, Majestic Destroyer of Flames. Running them right at Shin will try to match it with his own Fire Style Jutsu. But suddenly, a lot of Sharingan in his body are suddenly slashed away. Shin doesn't know how to use Izanagi, I assume, so a lot of Sharingan are being slashed away without him knowing what to do about it. Kurama's simply just too fast for him to calculate. But eventually he uses his one Mangekyo to channel all the blades to form a shot right through Naruto's heart. And then, as he pulls the blades out, well, blades all scatter again, piercing Naruto's body left and right, and eventually one goes right into his head, making Naruto fall over, going out of the Six Tails form, or Seven Tails form, and he's basically unconscious by now. But he's not dying because Kurama was able to negate the damage to the head, but the rest of his body is just losing too much blood. Shin escapes as Sasuke met up with Orochimaru, and they all leave, with Shin picking up copies of his body, realizing he's alive. And Danzo's bleeding out, so there's no saving him. Eventually, Kakashi arrives, and alongside Shino, Itachi. He was allowed out because, well, it was revealed he was a spy for the Hidden Leaf. But Itachi, Kakashi, Tsunade, and Hiruzen arrive. They see Danzo on the ground with his face scratched, and they realize that Naruto's body is covered in blade piercings, and there's blood coming out of his mouth like it won't stop. As they get close to his body, Kurama would immediately make an order saying, "Come help this boy right now. He's losing way too much blood. I use a lot of chakra trying to save him or fight back, so he needs help urgently." He disappears, and suddenly they pick up Naruto's body and run off to the Hidden Leaf as fast as they can. Now Itachi is like, "This is Sasuke's friend. I'm proud that Sasuke has such good friends, but Sasuke isn't going down the wrong path." Now with this, Naruto is brought to the Hidden Leaf Village, put in the Hidden Leaf Hospital, and basically kept there for a long time until Jiraiya comes back. When Jiraiya's back, he's questioning the state of the Hidden Leaf, and he's like, "Well, we're currently okay." He also questions why Itachi's out, but he's a spy for the Hidden Leaf via Hiruzen. But with this, well, Itachi reveals what happened to Naruto on the mission, saying that Naruto almost killed Danzo, but someone by the name of Shin Uchiha was able to stop Naruto using a Mangekyo Sharingan. Which Itachi would say that that's most likely an experiment from Orochimaru, because there's no Uchiha by the name of Shin Uchiha that he didn't kill or doesn't know the name of. He knew a lot of Uchiha. So Shin, being this powerful, probably never existed or is an experiment. So either a false name or an experiment, one of the two. Now with this, there's like, yeah, probably, so yeah. Now Danzo's put in the Hidden Leaf prison again, and chained down doubly, plus his guard is now Kakashi, that is the person watching over him. And plus Itachi's able to use Genjutsu on Fu and Torune for a bit to make sure their brains are fully unwired, separated from Danzo. So this is actually able to become his guards, and he can't even convince them or Genjutsu them. And more or less, if he tries to, they beat the hell out of him daily. So yeah. Now Jiraiya is able to master Sage Mode during that time, and when Naruto eventually wakes up, he's more than spent time training with Kurama. He chose not to wake up. Even when he more or less spent time training with Kurama, as Kurama was able to get along with Naruto. The reason Naruto and Kurama get along so well currently is because Kurama thinks Naruto's funny. Naruto is a genuinely hilarious person in and outside the series. And, well, Naruto being raised by, Jiraiya of all people, he's able to be a bit funnier to him, constantly trying to flirt with women, quote unquote flirt. But the reaction of them is priceless, which makes Kurama laugh. So Kurama just gets a good laugh every now and then, which is probably the best thing for him. Because Kurama's a hateful being that needs something like this in his life, so it actually helps him a lot. With this, Naruto's actually able to get to know Kurama a lot better. And Naruto, when he wakes up, his first question is, can I break the seal, or can I let the Nine Tails go? Well, not go, but can I just tear the seal down? And Jiraiya immediately asks why, and Naruto explained. Well, him and Kurama began getting along because Naruto was just asleep for so long. He had nothing better to do than get to know the Nine Tails. So they eventually just became friends as a mindscape. Chuck's Jiraiya then Naruto returned to the Nine Tails, but he says that he can give Naruto the key, but Naruto has to prove he's able to control the power. So by the time Naruto's able to walk and run around himself, he eventually would begin showing off his up to 6 tails cloak in full power. Jiraiya asks Naruto to go further, but he says no. It kind of just makes him too big and makes the village. Well, usually he did it against Shin and everyone else was because, well, they most likely wouldn't be scared of it, or he wasn't in the village. Just one of those two reasons. With the Seven Tails, Kurama was able to more or less alter the height of it, so it was more and more controlled for him. Naruto isn't that experienced with it, so he can't alter the size and height of it, so it's just kind of different. But Naruto nonetheless impresses Jiraiya, and Naruto able to basically unseal Kurama. Then ends up meeting Minato, and instead of hitting him, he thanks Minato for giving him the Nine Tails, saying that Nine Tails is a good person, and that he forever wishes to stay his friend. Minato hears this and is actually very surprised, but is happy that Naruto is having such a good life. Eventually, Kurama is just actually shocked to hear that Naruto's glad to have him as a Jinchuriki. He's glad to have someone like him as a kind of a so to say pet. So with this, immediately Kurama would actually let Naruto have access to all of his chakra, which actually does result in Naruto meeting Kushina as well. Pause real quick. So Naruto ends up meeting Kushina. Him and her get along pretty well. And Naruto is not going to be a pervert. He has limits. But it's actually compliments his mom, saying she's one of the most beautiful women he's ever met. But she says, oh yeah, you're too sweet. Naruto ended up saying that he learned a thing or two about how to treat women normally from Jiraiya, and how when she's oh, you raised by Jiraiya, and Naruto says, yeah. She made a concern. He says, don't worry. He taught me the difference between being a pervert and being a pervert and being a gentleman. There's a difference. I know it, and I can use it. This makes Kushina very happy that Jiraiya isn't just some old pervert that Naruto hangs around, which kind of is, but he teaches Naruto right. He knows how to. With this, Kushina eventually ends up telling Naruto, just keep going on safe and then be safe yourself. And live a long, good life. With this, she leaves, and Naruto now has access to KCM1. With this, Naruto more or less spends time in Konoha for 1 year mastering this ability, and Tsunade eventually is able to do the surgery on Itachi to heal him fully. And Naruto, due to actually meeting Sai just through random coincidence through Ino, because he knows Fu Yamanaka, he knows him, and eventually just through Fu he met Ino, and through Ino he met Sai, and him and Sai got along pretty well. Sai and him kind of had an unintentional roast battle, and they got along through that. And Sai eventually joined in on training Team Konohamaru. So yeah. And Drive focuses on Hokage duties, and him and Tsunade are currently dating. At the end of the 2 years, him and Tsunade get married. But they don't have a proper wedding yet. Drive and Tsunade both refuse to have a wedding, unless Orochimaru attends it. So, yeah. But now we go to the Kazekage retrieval mission. Naruto and Gara are still really good friends. They will do Naruto staying in Konoha a lot, or actually just traveling to see Gara to tell Gara he mastered the Nine Tails. Well, Gara did become a Kazekage. So Gara is just really happy that when Naruto is able to master his power, Gara explained he's actually in full control of Shukaku and even his friend. But the thing is, one day before Gara was attacked, Naruto was there. He was just in the desert. And as he's traveling away, distantly he's able to hear explosions. As he heads back to the Hidden Sand, he arrives there, right as Kankuro is put in the hospital. In the Hidden Sand hospital. And now with this, immediately he's able to somewhat give Kankuro a nine-tailed cloak, which heals him a bit. And all he needs is more or less to get his wounds treated. The poison was treated from Naruto, but Naruto doesn't explain. Kankuro cannot have the cloak for too long, or it'll kill him. It's toxic. So he removes the cloak as Kankuro's poison is dealt with. But now he needs to have his wounds treated. That's about it. Now with this, Naruto actually does ask them not to alert the Hidden Leaf, because he's here, and he doesn't want to be sent home in case he will not be the one to be chosen for the mission. So yeah. Pause real quick. So as Naruto is now just in the Hidden Sand, Samara hasn't happened to be there currently because she got back from visiting Shikamaru. Well, Naruto actually told her that he's willing to go back to go find Gara, and he asked her if she wants to come with him. She agrees, and with this, they both head off to find Gara. Now, Naruto's able to sense Gara, so eventually find where Gara is, and they get there right as Sasori's setting up the seals. It's about to set up the last one. Suddenly, he's hit in the face, or quote-unquote face, by Tamari's iron fan. It sent in the air before he can even make a sound. Suddenly, something would pierce right through his shell and into his face, his real face. The sword's pulled out of his shell, and well, Sasori like, you ruined both my bodies, and well, Sasori immediately would go all out because he's pissed. But Naruto doesn't seem phased. In response, he holds up his hand, revealing a gigantic Rasengan, and was the size of basically the whole area they're in, and he slams it into all of Sasori's puppets, destroying them, and this results in Sasori getting Rasengan. So yeah, this kills Sasori immediately. And Deidara tries to just go outside, wondering what the noise was, but suddenly, the giant boulder is punched, and then it shatters. Now Deidara is met by Naruto's eyes, as they're yellow, with a toad-like appearance. Before Deidara can even get an attack off, suddenly a kunai is shoved right through his throat. Before the kunai is even in his throat, he's held in place by sand. Then the kunai stabbed right through his throat. Gara would be panting, saying, "Damn it, I'm tired. Like that was too much for him. He's low on chakra. He's tired. Everything." This leads to Deidara. Well, Deidara and Sasori are both dead. But Naruto, due to knowing Kankuro uses puppets, well, he's also kind of friends with Kankuro currently. They occasionally gamble with each other. He pulls out all of Sasori's scrolls, desummons all the puppets, and puts them in a scroll. And when Kankuro's fully recovered, he gives Kankuro the scrolls. But the mother and father puppets go to Granny Chio, so she has those puppets. The Sasori puppet, she let Kankuro have it because he found it interesting. But yeah, he has back the hidden leaf, and they asked why it took so long. He said, "Oh, he's hoping hidden sand with the Akatsuki." He said that so casually, like nothing happened. It's like, did anything interesting actually happen? He's like, not really. I killed Sasori and Deidara, I guess. But he said it so casually. He killed Sasori of the sand. Then he killed Deidara of the explosion release. Like, it is so it's such a basic thing for him to say. Yeah. Now with this, well, they've been thinking of some way to find Orochimaru, and Yamanaka has been working on all of his techniques from the Omri that he learned via all the Yamanaka clan abilities, and well, there's time Inoichi's able to teach Fu not one technique, but have Fu master them all, and Fu eventually brings up he can peek into Don's memory to find the hideout, and he does just that. Pause real quick. So he peeks into Danto's mind, finding one of the hideouts. And with this, well, they head out for it. Well, not Naruto. He's kind of busy. Well, not busy nonetheless. It's more or less like he has to. Well, he's busy training, so he is busy. Because recently he had learned Master Sage Mode, and now has to learn how to use the abilities of it. Well, Jiraiya's teaching Naruto how to do so. Or he was, but now it's Mom Pato. Jiraiya's heading out to find Orochimaru. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Hiruzen, and let's say Kakashi. Those four. But then we see Konohamaru. She wanted to tag along because he's already on a mission. Because currently he's a chunin. He's taking chunin exams pretty early. Like the year he became a genin, he took the exams. So he's graduated a bit early. So just Morgi and Udon, and they're both chunin as well. So all three of them are chunin. Konohamaru, she has to tag along. Here's an inference against it. Kakashi would say, like, "No worries, he's strong. I train him myself occasionally. He's pretty powerful." He's going to say that Konohamaru is not done to intervene or stay out of Hiruzen's or like go away from Hiruzen's eyesight. He has to stay in front of Hiruzen at all times. And Udon and Mogi have the same rule. So with this, they encounter one of the bases, the one with Jugo and Kimimaru in it. Well, Kimimaru's dead, so I guess just Jugo. Once they arrive in there, Jugo is actually guarding the gate. As he sees Konohamaru immediately and wants to fight. Konohamaru would just say, okay, he'll put Rasengan onto his face again. Jugo would suddenly appear in front of Konohamaru, but his punch is dodged, and Konohamaru would judo slam Jugo on the ground as hard as he can. This jumps away, saying he'll fight Jugo himself. But Udon says to Konohamaru, saying he'll fight as well. Mogi just wishes them luck and runs off with the rest of them, of course. You guys are wondering why Konohamaru is so broken. This one was broken from the start. Right now he's training with Naruto, a Sannin. Kakashi, who's on the level of all Sannin. Like, he trains with people who are constantly on the level of Sannin. We have Naruto who's surpassing all Sannin currently, and he still trains with Naruto occasionally. Like, Konohamaru automatically broken, and then Udon learned a bit from Sasuke, and now trains with Konohamaru regularly, who's on the level of average Jonin, and he's 12. So, yeah. Konohamaru, Udon, and Moegi are all broken in their own rights, because Moegi is one of Tsunade's students. And due to, Hiruzen now having a lot of free time, trains Konohamaru himself. And Udon is constantly with Konohamaru, so the results of training with Hiruzen. Udon is kind of like a copy of Hiruzen right now, because, he's incredibly good with chakra control to him having little reserves. Well, we have Konohamaru, who has massive reserves, and really good chakra control at the same time. So these two fighting up against Jugo. Well, it's not an even fight, but still, it's really impressive. The Jugo would make his arm big, trying to punch it down on Konohamaru, but it's met with a Rasengan, pushing him back a bit. But suddenly, Jugo thinks he's overwhelming Konohamaru, and suddenly, Rasengan gets bigger, and Jugo's whole arm is blown off. Before Jugo can even know what's happening, he's stabbed in the stomach by kunai, and then kicked him in the face, and then just two fireball jutsu absorb him. He falls to the ground on one knee, being burned. Suddenly, his face is slashed by two kunai, one going for his throat, one going for his eyes. But he's blinded, and then, so to say, killed. He's kind of healing as his throat is slashed, like immediately as the slash is healing. But Jugo currently is unconscious. Now with this, they find Kari, but Tsunade deals with her with just one blow. Then they find just all the prisoners, all the random prisoners. They free them, then beat them all up, then actually begin tending to their wounds and everything. But with this, Jiraiya is able to somewhat seal away all their curse marks to the point where they're all just suppressed. With Jugo, he can't really seal away an organic curse mark, but he can weaken the effects of it mentally. And he does just that on Jugo. Now with this, Jugo is actually somewhat able to absorb all the curse marks of these guys with Jiraiya weakening his seals. Not weakening his seal, but kind of just helping him mentally via seal. So with this, they back to the village with all the prisoners being put in prison cells because they're all criminals. But this was not the base they needed. Because Kari is kind of put in the prison cell as well. But yeah. But I guess we can go on to the Tenichi Bridge mission. Sai is actually the one to find out about this via just Akatsuki information. Because the one to take over Jiraiya's spy network would be Kakashi, Sai, and Shino, and Torune. Those four. Well, due to the Anbu kind of being under Jiraiya now, they all have one captain. Kakashi. Shino is his right-hand man due to Yamato more or less being part of the Anbu as well, but he has no interest in being one of the leaders. No interest at all. So it's Sai. Not Sai, it's Shino. Then Torune is kind of just Sai's assistant, because Sai surpasses Torune really fast. But Shino now contains all the bugs in the Ramen clan, and can use them all to their full ability. Pause. So now we go on to Tenichi Bridge. So still Naruto, Yamato, Sai, and Sakura. But this time, when Yamato does this whole puppet imitation thing, Naruto is able to tell him how to speak. But suddenly, when Kabuto tries to cut it in half, Yamato ends up jumping away, only to see Sai wrap up Kabuto. Kabuto's wrapped up. Suddenly, he's grabbed by the face of Sakura, and he gets the old Aizen treatment. So, yeah. Now, this Sakura begins fighting Kabuto, who's currently a perfect Snake Sage. He has a bit of Shin's DNA, so that's what made him a perfect Snake Sage. And I'm trying to do the same thing, becoming a perfect Snake Sage as well. But I keep thinking of Sai, because I keep thinking of names with an S. Kabuto versus Sakura. Now, Sakura is currently a lot stronger than in canon, because she's training Tsunade for actually a little over 2 years by now. Because Tsunade was in the village a bit earlier. So this leaves a little bit more training. So she's a tad bit stronger. I'd put her at probably Pain Arc Sakura, maybe even early War Arc. So she's currently able to body Kabuto, but barely, because Kabuto isn't nearly as powerful as he is in canon, because he doesn't have all the DNA of everyone else in his body. So yeah, Sakura's able to beat him, but barely. She eventually passes out, and then we would have Orochimaru attacking. And when he attacks, well, he fights Yamato, beats him, fights Sai, beats him, but fights Naruto, loses horribly. Wait, no, let's say Yamato. Fuck, I'm dumb. Tenchi Bridge is going on, but I messed up everything. Fuck. I was confusing the first arc that I went over, the second arc. Now I was confusing this arc. Back to the I didn't mess up. So, now Naruto versus Orochimaru. So with Orochimaru, well, he's not really able to compare to Naruto's Sage Mode. Naruto had mastered Sage Mode over this time, and say Orochimaru kind of got it recently, so he can't really do a thing. It's just complete and utter alliteration. So with this, Orochimaru is beaten, and Naruto just keeps on beating him. Orochimaru faces KCM1 Naruto, faces Sage Mode Naruto, faces base Naruto, is still losing. There's no way for him to win. So yeah, it kind of results in Orochimaru kind of giving up because he feels horrible now. But as Sai eventually gets back up, Semi Yamato and Sakura. So return. Well, Naruto's about to be stabbed from behind. They think that Naruto's about to die. But Naruto just turns around and slams a gigantic orange fist into Shin. His fist is slammed into Shin. He walks over to him, grabbing him by the neck, and squeezes, cracking it, or snapping it, killing him. Naruto has a buttload of scars just from Shin alone. Eventually one on his chest that goes out his back. So yeah, Shin kind of fucked up Naruto. But it was for the greater good in Naruto's mind, because he turned to Karma for a bit. So I guess we can just go on to So I guess we can go on to I guess the Katsuki's repression. Due to Naruto being in the village constantly and his friends all getting stronger really fast, plus being trained by Anbu occasionally, a lot of them felt like they're falling behind. Even Shikamaru and Choji felt like they needed to train to keep up. So with Shikamaru and Choji she's having the drive to keep up, plus Naruto actually announcing his advisors, because this is like retiring once he does have a proper wedding ceremony. So Naruto is needing to pick out his face mold, his advisor, his Anbu guards. Currently, his Anbu guards consist of Itachi, who was healed by Tsunade, but he's not allowed to use his Mangekyo at all unless he has to ask permission to use it. But Itachi, Shino, Torune, Fu, and Kakashi. Those are his Anbu, because the Spy Network will be over once the wedding actually happens, because Orochimaru will be not in the Anbu, but will be at the wedding, because that's the only way the wedding's going to happen, is if Orochimaru arrives. So yeah. But Shin is killed by Naruto, and now the Katsuki's suppression mission. So yeah, if Shikamaru's a lot stronger than canon, the fact that he's training to be a Hokage advisor / bodyguard, he is forced to. So yeah. And Shikaku's personally training Shikamaru constantly, same as Hiruzen, because, well, if you're going to guard a Hokage, you need to be trained by a Hokage. Hiruzen trains everyone nowadays. There's nothing else to do. But, yeah. So Shikamaru, you guys know, Shikamaru, Izumo Kotetsu, and Asuma, when they do encounter Hidan and Kakuzu, Shikamaru personally fights Kakuzu and wins by a landslide. Because, well, first off, he's able to somewhat of a kunai master. So he's able to stab out 3 of the hearts. Then the shadow process is able to somewhat strangle Kakuzu, which makes him pass out. Then the final heart is removed. So yeah, Kakuzu's killed. Which shocks Hidan, because now if Hidan ends up getting a limb severed, he cannot escape. But yeah. But now when Hidan does pull out a weapon, suddenly the weapon would disappear, as now he's repeatedly stabbed over and over and over and over. Shikamaru is able to use his own Shadow Triangle Jutsu to remove all weapons off of him when he pulls them out. So there's no way for him to get them back. Eventually with this, Shikamaru is able to use one Earthly Jutsu to send him deep into the ground, and then he's sealed away, or kept down there because he can't escape. So yeah. So he kind of like somewhat seals him away, but it's not a seal. He's kind of just imprisoned underground. There's no one to hear him under there, so he's kept there. Asuma did receive one hell of a beating. For the first time, he actually has to realize that Shikamaru surpassed him a long time ago. He's already smarter, but now he's a lot stronger. Shikamaru currently could have taken down Hidan like it was nothing. So, yeah. He did just that. So, pause real quick. So, the next arc I'm pretty sure would be the Pain arc. Well, I think I may have like heard in the beginning, if this is the right recording that I said it. I kind of forget occasionally. Naruto's first original goal was to meet Nagato, because Jiraiya did mention having another student previous to Nagato. Then the student was after Minato, and Jiraiya obviously wasn't referring to Minato, so it was Nagato. And Jiraiya did eventually tell Naruto the name of this student, so to say. And Naruto was able to somewhat find out the leader of the Akatsuki's name Pain and the description. He even found a picture of the Ame orphans from Jiraiya. The leader seems to look like Yahiko. So the first place the Naruto gets into investigating is, well, Ame. But Kakashi comes with him. They're able to infiltrate Ame. And, yeah. When they infiltrate Ame, they're figured out pretty quickly because Naruto's chakra signature is very unique. It's very high. But while he's in the Hidden Rain, we'll eventually just fight all paths of pain. Him and Kakashi fights the summonings. Naruto ends up fighting natural bodies. But I'm speaking of bodies, Kakashi bodies every single summoning. The giant wolf is cut in half, and then that kind of takes it down for a bit. The giant bull ends up being convoluted in half. And, yeah. Eventually the dog does get back up. The lizard and bird taking out itself. But Kakashi eventually takes on the animal path. Naruto takes out most of the paths. Only one left would be Konan and I guess the Yahiko path by now. So Konan appears, Kakashi would fight her, and it's kind of the equivalent of Konan fighting Obito. She tries to win, but instead of using Kamui, or not Kamui, but instead of using Izanagi, well, instead he Kamui's her away. That's how he escapes death. He Kamui's her away. So yeah, that was a pretty high scale fight, and this current Kakashi's on the level of, well, versus Konan and Obito. So before, Naruto did not leave a hidden leaf. Everyone trained together because they're all trained by Anbu or Kage. Doesn't matter. So now we just move on to Naruto versus Yahiko. This fight happens, but it's Yahiko. You see, basically just pain being abused the whole fight. Like, it's not even funny. Like, he suplexed, kicked through buildings, Rasengan a few times, but not a few times. Actually, Rasengan once, but the Rasengan was absorbed. So yeah. It wasn't absorbed, but more or less like kind of just blocked. The chakra rod just went in and stabbed at him, and he had to basically just disperse it. But yeah, so eventually, yeah, the Deva path is defeated. What it would be, the Deva path is defeated, and now they encounter the real Nagato. Nagato was more pissed off because Konan's dead, but Kakashi reveals no, she's not really dead. You kind of just put her somewhere else. That's really it. Nagato thought it was Jiraiya, not Jiraiya. I mean, it was Kakashi saying no, he put her in heaven, but Jiraiya not Jiraiya. I mean, Kakashi says no, just different dimension. He lets Konan out immediately, which shocks Nagato. She's not dead. Wow, he didn't kill her. Naruto ends up talking about his dream is to meet Nagato because Jiraiya mentioned and spoke so highly of Nagato, thinking that Nagato had died a long time ago. But Naruto's no, I didn't die. I became the leader of the Akatsuki under the name Pain. So eventually with this, Naruto actually just bows for Nagato, saying it's an honor to meet him, and talks about Tsunade and Jiraiya's wedding, actually wanting Nagato to come, saying it would make Jiraiya's day. Naruto does point out the situation. He cannot physically walk. His body is simply just too weak for that. Naruto walks over to the Yahiko path, puts chakra through it, and immediately the body's able to somewhat recover, being healed a bit. enough to walk around a bit, but barely. It has a time limit for moving. With this, is someone able to pick up not Yayiko, picks up Nagato of his own accord. So yeah, so it picks up Nagato, and Nagato kind of smiles at that well, he restored Yayiko. Suddenly, as they're about to leave, well, a chakra rod is fired, but caught by Naruto. Naruto said who fired it, being Obito. And in case you guys are wondering why I said like Kakashi level Obito, and I said like there's nothing, Naruto would body Obito disrespectfully currently. I mixed up the recordings again, but Naruto has read this through the scroll of ceiling. He did that a few times actually. Currently, by now, he's done it a lot. He is flying Raijin. He would have at least a lot of jutsu in there that isn't Kikkai specific. But pause real quick. Sorry. So well, Obito was one to fire off a whole ass chakra rod at Naruto. Naruto being a lot more OP than in canon. Well, catches it and throws it back at Obito. Because Obito would immediately try to face through it. Well, Kakashi is able to see a Sharingan-like gleam. He sees this, he's like, oh shit, the Sharingan. Kakashi being trying to like just go hand to hand against Obito. Obito fades through it, dodging a few attacks. But Kakashi's able to come to the same conclusion like his Kamui, because he saw the Mangekyo pattern. That wasn't his goal. Like, it was his goal to fight. Wrong pattern. His goal wasn't to fight. It was to basically just see the Sharingan pattern, which was it's the same as Kamui. And figures out it's Obito. Now, as Obito does fire off like another chakra rod, well, it immediately goes right through, goes right into the Kamui dimension, and Kakashi said throwing a kunai at Obito. Obito basically able to have it face through his chest. Well, the the chakra rod had gone right in the Kamui dimension, hitting Obito right in the back. Obito coughed up blood, and it was then split second of just being off guard. He was punched in the face by Naruto, and his mask is shattered. Obito hits the ground unconscious. Well, Naruto actually asks, should they get out of here? Because he's hunting Nagato, obviously. So for this time, they'll let Obito get away. And they just allow him to go. So yeah. So yeah. This kind of leads to basically just them letting Obito be unconscious for a bit. Because, they have to get Nagato out of there, something's going on, because they'd be killed by Obito. They can determine that. So, with that, they escape to Konoha, and Naruto will actually walk into his house with Jiraiya and Tsunade on the couch watching TV, or reading, whatever. I don't care. They're doing something together that isn't the S word. As he walks in, Naruto actually says he has a surprise for Jiraiya. And I guess a slight surprise for Tsunade. He steps aside as Yayiko walks in, or what he thinks is Yayiko walks in, holding Nagato, and Konoha walks in behind them. So Jiraiya basically asks if Yayiko's alive, but Nagato would explain that, Jiraiya would explain that, Nagato explains that no, he's not alive, but he's dead, but he makes him pack the pain, so the corpse will stay fresh. Well, at least he keeps it fresh, so, yeah. Jiraiya does actually say it's pretty messed up, and so he offers to somewhat heal his body, and give him a wheelchair in case he can't move all of his limbs. Like a motorized wheelchair, but, yeah. So with this, Tsunade begins doing her magic after Yayiko's proper funeral. And, yeah. Now, this just leads to, nonetheless, Tsunade healing some of Nagato's body. His legs are kind of, everything the waist down is kind of beyond repair. But, Konan did request one thing from Nagato before he put under surgery. And Nagato had to give the request to Tsunade. I will tell you later. But with this, Naruto and Konan are kind of dating now. This kind of erases the Pain of Salt arc from the equation, and after that, to move on to some other arc. I'm going to find it real quick. So to replace the Itachi arcs, Well, we're gonna go over basically just like the hunt for Orochimaru. Naruto hand out all information he knows. They also use bits and pieces of Don's memory, and a bit of Kakashi's old memory, and a bit of everyone's memory that has hunted Orochimaru's bases. Now, with this extent, they send out Anbu and Shinobi to every one of the old hideouts, and at one of them, the one in question, being the one that Naruto, Konohamaru, and Jiraiya found. They go inside. Instantly, they're attacked by a giant snake, but Konohamaru was saying they're turning on it to hell. So, yeah. So Naruto basically just runs through the whole base looking for Sasuke, but as he tries to go, like basically just as he thinks he finds him, suddenly the whole base something begins rumbling. Naruto wasn't hearing coming a mile away. What he does is more or less just basically weave one hand seal. Suddenly, Kiri strikes something, but not the base. Sasuke suddenly attacks Naruto with a sword, but Naruto ends up pulling out his sword, slashing at Sasuke, and basically just cuts Sasuke's blade into pieces. Like, he cuts a blade to pieces, which actually shocks Sasuke because he didn't think it'd be done that easily. So yeah, Sasuke tries to fight Naruto even using KCM at full ability, but Naruto learned an ability from Jugo because they have him in custody. Then he learned how to take in. Basically, what he did is mainly be able to absorb nature energy through any possible way. And the curse mark happens to take in nature energy, and he knows how to suppress the seal. What he does is mainly just put combo in, basically taking up all the nature energy out of Sasuke, putting it into his own body. With this, he takes up so much nature energy, and even stealing away a lot of the curse mark power. And this before Sasuke came and turned around to like try to, I guess, let me say this. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to say it. So, where was I? Yeah, Sasuke attacked Naruto, but Naruto was easily able to more or less like just suppress the seal, absorb all the nature energy, and what he does is just, I guess, probably wouldn't like take away the seal permanently, but like it's not gonna be able to be used for a long ass time. But with Sasuke feeling his power disappear from his body, he passes out. I forgot what I did in Kabuto. I forgot, honestly. I think he's still alive. I think so. So in case he is, Kabuto, in case he's there, it fights Konohamaru. Konohamaru gets one good Rasengan to his body. Fuck. Sakura killed him. Forgot. She fought him, and I'm just telling you right now, he died in battle. So back to this. So Konohamaru does fight Kabuto. He would fight. Well, Orochimaru did leave at Tenichi Bridge because he left him behind. They kind of focus on Shin's body. But, yeah. Orochimaru basically fights Jiraiya, Konohamaru, and Sasuke is picked up, and, well, Naruto ends up leaving with Sasuke, saying he'll be back if they need help. He taps the door lightly, and a Flying Raijin mark is placed there. He is back to Konoha using Flying Raijin, and he lays Sasuke in the Konoha hospital, but under strict supervision of his own Anbu. So with this, well, he heads back to the hideout, seeing the final Rasengan given by Konohamaru using a gigantic Rasengan. As it slams into Sasuke, it slams into Orochimaru, basically just doesn't like, he tries to make some fire natures, but it all does is result in a really hot Rasengan, not Rasengan being made of fire. So yeah, so it wasn't like a fire, like it wasn't like a giant fireball Rasengan, but more or less just a hot one. But with this, as Orochimaru tries to get back up, Naruto ends up placing a chakra draining seal on him, which just gonna put him out of commission for a while. Now this Orochimaru's put in prison, and he kind of spent time just talking to Jiraiya. Well, Jiraiya talks to him, and Orochimaru eventually just stops listening after a while. But one thing catches his ear. Jiraiya hands Orochimaru a letter, and Orochimaru's a little bit hesitant to read it, because, well, the whole room's full of chakra draining seals, he hopes this isn't like a bomb or anything. But as he ends up reading the letter, what it was more or less just Jiraiya saying that he was trying to be the best man at his wedding. So Naruto, because Naruto is more like his son, not a best friend. So yeah. And to be his father is Hiruzen. So, yeah. Now, when Orochimaru gets like, oh, who you're marrying? And somebody walks in saying, me. And Orochimaru's like, what? You two together? Well, Itachi suddenly walks in, genjutsuing Orochimaru, or using Izanami. Let's say he uses Izanami on Orochimaru to make him like reflect on life. And then you use his Mangekyo ability in case he doesn't like has his Mangekyo ability ready for it. But yeah, Izanami takes out one of Itachi's eyes. Well, currently I'm gonna flashback a bit around a few minutes, well, a few hours previous to the whole prison thing. Sasuke had woken up and Itachi was with him. Sasuke and Itachi began talking, just due to Itachi being not Itachi, but Sasuke being restrained. But the Anbu are not listening due to Itachi's request, due to Itachi being a Naruto's personal Anbu. And Itachi knows everything about the Uchiha massacre. Itachi does strike Sasuke like now I should kill Hiruzen, but Itachi like no, blame Danzo, not Hiruzen. Hiruzen was only a few against it, and due to him being overwhelmed, he was not able to prevent it. If anything, thank Hiruzen. So this shocked Sasuke, was like, okay, then this is all you wanted to tell me, that you're forced to kill our clan. Suddenly Sasuke's eyes are ripped out by Itachi, which does actually make Sasuke scream in pain, but then Sasuke's realizes that his eyes are put back by someone, Sakura. Well, not his eyes, they're Itachi's eyes. They both awaken their eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, do this immediately, which just confuses Sasuke for a bit until he reveals what happens. But, yeah. So, yeah, back to Itachi. So Izanami is able to make Orochimaru come to his like senses, but it takes a few hours. Now with this, he comes to his senses. Actually, offers not offers, but takes the offer from Jiraiya, saying like, "Yeah, sure, I'll personally be the best man." So with this, the wedding happens with Orochimaru as the best man for Jiraiya. The bridesmaid for Tsunade was Sakura. But now Naruto eventually, like, he's not like too knowledgeable, but he wanted important roles. What he did was basically be the priest. He can used a transformation to be the priest. The actual priest he paid off to leave. But yeah, he knew what to say. But with this, we kind of move on to the Five Kage Summit. But before the Five Kage Summit, around a week before, the new Kage was announced. Naruto Uzumaki is the new Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. And he is only 16 years old. The youngest Hokage currently besides Gara. Not Hokage, the youngest Kage. Gara is the youngest Kage, but then we have Naruto, who I think is a bit older currently than Gara was when he became Kage. So Naruto and Gara are the youngest Kages. The best part about Naruto is, currently he's an S rank in everything. Quite literally everything, he's an S rank. Which, you know, he's about kind of like give him like the max grade give him max grade you in your country, your state, whatever. Give him the max grade, but then multiply that max grade by itself. So yeah, just like max grade topped with max grade. So yeah, there's really no beating him. So yeah, so for the Five Kage Summit, when he arrives, well, this confuses all the Kage, like question where's Jiraiya. Naruto basically says that, first off, yes, like you say, hey, Lord Sixth, where's the Fifth? And it just says that Jiraiya had retired. That's why, and Naruto had said he got married and didn't want to put his wife at risk, so he retired. Which Kage would say, he got married. That old pervert, doubt it. Before anyone can even blink, well, Naruto is at A's throat with the sword drawn, saying that he'll cut off A's head right here. And A actually feels fear. And none of this Anbu can get to Naruto due to just Chino and Shikamaru getting in the way. And Killer B is restrained with one of Naruto's 9 tails. So yeah. So this is restraining Killer B. And he threatens A's life, but eventually sits back down. But one thing that everyone noticed, specifically, is that Gara had all the Saiyan surrounding all the other Kage, just not Naruto. And they really quickly realized that these two are best friends despite being so young. Naruto had high five Gara and said hi to Tamari and Kankuro. Shikamaru, Fu, and Tsurune sit back down. Itachi's kind of outside waiting with the samurai, just talking to them for a bit. Even Sasuke's there. Like he didn't get Izanami. He just got a really strong taste of Genjutsu. So yeah, and there's one about Itachi's Izanami. Well, his eye that's now gone. He replaced it with Shisui's eye. So yeah, he never put it in Naruto. Never did. So yeah, so the Five-Kage Summit. Well, they wanted to decide was like what to do with Orochimaru because it's reported that he returned to the Hidden Leaf, but now he wanted to perform some crimes against other villages. And then Onoiki decides to bring up the fact that the Naruto looks a lot like the fourth Hokage, questioning like is he part of the same clan? And Naruto reveals he's the fourth son. He talks to everyone, and Onoiki's like, so you're the one that's going to get his sins. Naruto immediately says that he's mastered flying Raijin beyond his father's understanding. And he can annihilate the whole village, well, every single village if he chooses to. Which is just confusing Onoiki until he points out to the window that's nearby. They look outside, and they see tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Naruto clones. And so for some reason, his chakra still feels like it's really high. What Naruto did basically is just a lot of training, and sheer training, just ups his chakra levels a lot. So those many clones is really nothing to him. And with this, well, immediately all the Kage are intimidated that there's that many shadow clones outside, and they're all Kage level shinobi. And if they all have flying Raijin, their villagers can almost definitely be annihilated. But Killer Bee wants to make a proposition. He wants to go outside and fight Naruto to see who's better than Cherokee. The Killer Bee wins, then Naruto has to hand over half the land of fire to the Hidden Cloud. And if Naruto wins, they'll enter a pact. Well, the Hidden Cloud will enter a pact with the Hidden Leaf and transfer some money. Naruto agrees, saying, "Sure, why not?" Also, Kurama says that Yuki is he's making Yuki his bitch. That's what he says. Because Kurama's cocky right now. He wants to fuck up Yuki beyond understanding. That's what his goal is. So they head outside, and Yuki's basically ramped up because Kurama's had cussed at him. So yeah. And when this fight starts, something Killer Bee would wake up hours later. The moment A said go, Killer Bee wakes up hours later. Wakes up, his cheek is swollen, and Naruto is just sitting there eating tea on the table. Not eating, but drinking tea on the table. Eating some food. And, well, the Kage are looking at Naruto like a beast. Before Killer Bee even had a chance to go all out, he's punched in the face by KCM2 Naruto and sent flying. Naruto did not give him the chance to even get ready to fight at all. Just like the moment he said go, boom, sent flying miles away. He broke light speed. So yeah. So Naruto nonetheless Five-Kage Summit occurs, and just seeing Naruto beat Killer Bee in an instant scared the hidden sand. It scared the hidden stone. But now I need to figure out what arc is next. Next. So the war would occur. And one thing that would happen is basically Kabuto's body is brought into the snake stage by Obito, who was left behind still. He wakes up, brings his body to the snake stage. They're able to fuel enough nature energy into him to pump his heart back up, and he's able to more or less get revived. But with this, well, he's able to cast regeneration jutsu, still the same way, but also put all the DNA inside his body the same way he did in canon. But basically all the time forward, everyone's dead still, so just, yeah. So, just what I can really say about that. Kabuto still casts the same kind of jutsu and everything. But, yeah. So, I guess we can go on to, like, a few fights. The 5 Kage is still, well, not 5, just, well, the 4 Kage, then Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen all fight Madara Uchiha. But Jiraiya seems to be the strongest of them all, which actually shocks Madara, because he's never even heard of Jiraiya. He's heard of Tsunade, Hiruzen, ASA is a pretty common name. He's never heard of most of the current Kage right now, but Jiraiya is the most irrelevant name he's ever heard. But Jiraiya reveals that he's a mastered sage, and a student of Hiruzen, which actually makes Madara intrigued, saying, "Oh, really? Then that's understanding why you're the strongest here." Now, Onoki does realize that Jiraiya's power is just sheerly incredible, but if he can move faster than A, which he can't currently, he's fast, but not as fast as A. Onoki use the boulder, the boulder, just the light boulder jutsu, just make Jiraiya lighter. Well, Jiraiya begins moving faster than A and begins abusing Madara. Or he thinks so. He's punching through Susanoo, with Susanoo helping him as well. So Naruto versus the third Raikage. That man will charge at Naruto at full power, and Naruto grabbed his arm and tore it off, which actually shocks the third Raikage and everyone there. Everyone starts to drop to see that Naruto disrespected arguably the strongest Raikage. But Naruto ended up putting his hands together, saying cloth binding seal. Suddenly, the cloth around Naruto's hand disappeared, and appeared around A, which is the third Raikage's name, and he sealed away. So yeah. So this seals away the third Raikage, and Naruto had said that they're go on in life currently. Madara, the other Madara, I guess, or current Madara, still drops a boulder. Not a boulder, I mean, I was understanding. He still drops a whole ass meteor, but Madara is the one to be shocked. When he drops one, still Gara stops it, but then the boulder is stopped by something else. So the thing that stops it is something gigantic and orange. What stops it is the Nine Tails. Suddenly, the Nine Tails begins crushing it and throws it back into orbit at full power. A third one's being dropped, but the one that's thrown in the air destroys it completely. Which leaves a few shards of boulder falling to the ground. Not boulder, I mean, a few shards of meteor being hit the ground. But Naruto eventually ends up fighting. He ends up fighting Madara himself. Madara, deep down to the strongest opponent he's ever fought in his life. And with that, we would have just a very impressive feat. So Madara is just shocked to feel that Naruto's strongest opponent he's ever fought besides Hashirama. So Hashirama and Naruto, he thinks of them as an even playing field. So with these two being even playing field, he's just in sheer amazement. So yeah, because Naruto currently is on the level that he is. I'd put Naruto the last currently. This is power estimation on Naruto the last. So this man can one shot Toneri if he chooses to. Which he will do in a few years. No, probably not one punch, one flick, the man. But yeah. But now we move on to basically just fast forward through the war. We're still eventually Obito still Tensei Cherokee. But yeah. By the way, I'm realizing I'm leaving one thing out, not leaving it out, but kind of like neglecting it, so to say. Well, two things. With Kabuto, he's pretty easily killed by Shino. That's really it. He's killed by Shino. He was revived and killed again by Shino. Shino just grabs the man by the face and just fuses bugs all over his body, and those bugs kill him. If they don't kill him, then one bug can just explode through his whole body, killing him. Well, not explode, but expand, which kills him. So, yeah. And then we'd go on to, I kind of want to talk about Kisame. He's still, not coma, he's not coma, he's a vegetable. That's kind of what it is. My guy put 6 gates of trauma in this man's mind. It is not a surprise he's a vegetable. It's different. It is awful. Kisame just has a look of traumatization on his face constantly. The thing is, he lives with Itachi. Itachi lives next door to Sasuke, and Kisame lives with Itachi. Itachi cares for him. But yeah, just off the Kisame topic now. Back to the war. So with the 10,000 Cherokee Obito, everything that kind of went per canon is just Naruto had just fought Madara, kind of an equal playing field, so to say. I guess not equal, it's kind of overpowering him a bit. But Obito 10,000 Cherokee kind of came out of nowhere and slammed Naruto into the ground. And then was able to stab him with chakra rods made out of two sticking orbs, which held Naruto in place. But Naruto being held in place by these rods, not being able to use Kurama to escape. Well, eventually with this, Madara and Obito body the whole Shinobi Alliance themselves. And with this, we'll just have a chakra rod right in Naruto's heart, and this when Naruto would end up meeting the Sage of Six Paths. Susu's the same gift of power. Sasuke still meets him as well. But suddenly, Naruto's chakra begins exploding. As now for the first time, he could reach power in around the Boruto era. That would be in the Boruto era. He does not go Baryon mode. No, that'd kill him too fast. Instead, he would end up going to KCM 2, but it's a lot more controlled and different in power. Suddenly, all of will be just 9 tails shoot at Madara and Obito. Well, first these two were fighting, but Madara's obviously losing. Suddenly, Obito slapped right across the whole battlefield. Madara still eventually becomes Tenjo's Jinchuriki himself, because Obito everything happens according to canon. Just Madara is being bodied alongside Obito. The Madara becomes Tenjo's Jinchuriki, and yeah. So I don't know what else to say. Just these two are being bodied at an insane level. Eventually, we go to Kaguya, because that's kind of where the main change is. So with Kaguya, well, Infinite Tsukuyomi is still casted. Sakura, Naruto, Kakashi, and Sasuke are still the last ones left. But there's one exception. Jiraiya is still unconscious in the 5 Kage battlefield. He lost, sure, but Madara did deem him probably one of the strongest opponents he's ever fought. So in order, the strongest opponents he's ever fought. So first, Naruto. Second, Hashirama. Third, Sasuke. Fourth, Jiraiya. Well, Jiraiya's pretty damn impressive. But my guy would actually probably replace Jiraiya. Then fifth would be Jiraiya. So yeah. But now Kaguya. Well, when about to travel to the dimension of Kaguya, well, Jiraiya suddenly appeared behind Kaguya, going for a Frog Kumite punch, or a regular punch, so to say, but she dodges it. Then the Frog Kumite sends her flying to the portal that Sasuke had made, and now they all run through it, with Jiraiya smirking at Naruto. He's run through it. Jiraiya being asleep. He didn't look up at the Tsukuyomi. But then, when Naruto realized Jiraiya was still there, he immediately snatched and pulled right under the Susanoo. So yeah. Well, he can probably just teleport to the Jiraiya without looking up, then just teleport back into the Susanoo. So he did that. But Kaguya, he makes tons of more clones, and these clones are all have Flying Raijin, and most Jutsu in Konoha currently. And then we have just these other shinobi that begin fighting. And yeah. So if Kakashi, who's a lot stronger than Kanon, I'd probably put this Kakashi at like Rinnegan Obito level. Because this Kakashi will rival Obito at every bit, just not when he's a kid. Kid Kakashi obliterates Kid Obito. But Kakashi's now rivaling Rinnegan Obito. Both with only one regular eye. He still rivals Rinnegan Obito with one eye. That's not even a Sharingan. So this speaks to this Kakashi's power. We have Sakura, who's probably on the level that she's in Boruto currently. Maybe even, just Naruto's level that he's in Boruto. While Sakura's on the level that she's in Naruto the Last. And same with Sasuke, who's able to blow up a meteor that they can wipe out the whole end of fire. So, yeah. We have Jiraiya, who's probably on the level of with him being a better master of Sage Mode, I'd probably put him at I want to put him at KCM 1 Naruto before he gets to the war. That kind of KCM 1 Naruto. So yeah. I guess KCM 1 that swapped hands with Edo Itachi. That Naruto. So Jiraiya's on that level. So still one of the weakest there, but still pretty strong. So Ozo's been fighting against him. Obito's still there as well. He's some Kamui dimension. Kakashi still gets two Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. But then Naruto not really restoring his other eye. Kakashi insists on just keeping it no, save your power. I'm still strong. I can still fight. I can dominate half this battlefield with one eye. Trust me, I don't need to. So yeah. When Naruto realizing that Kakashi would keep these two Mangekyo Sharingan with his help, what he does is actually pour all the sage energy into these two eyes. Actually, no, not all of it. They waste it. Sasuke is able to put their hands over Kakashi's face. Kakashi's face, well, sage chakra will flow through him. And with this, By the way, my guy, he was saved. He was still saved, but through other reasons, because I don't have a different plan. Let's say he was saved like by Tsunade or something. I don't know. Fuck it. Not Tsunade. She's conscious. But Kari saved him. Fuck it. I don't care. She able to save him, but he lost a leg. But then yeah, back to this. So, well, Naruto and Naruto and Sasuke always have their sage energy, and Kakashi is able to somewhat now possess the Tsumogi Sharingan at full power. But now with this, they will obviously just fight against Kaguya at their full power. Kakashi never losing Tsumogi Sharingan, and when Kaguya tries to just avoid Susanoo, well, she gets a punch to the ribs of a lifetime, with her chest being caved in, then half her body being convoluted away. Well, not her head, but everything from half of her body from down convoluted away. Well, then with that, we introduce Naruto's strongest jutsu currently, Naruto's strongest jutsu. What he does is actually pour in the Kurama chakra mode energy, not Sage chakra mode, and Sasuke then coasts this with Amaterasu. As now with Amaterasu flames and spiking up on random directions, he's making sure that they don't get on Naruto. Then Kakashi would actually be infusing this with Kamui a bit. And with this, what they do, well, it's Kaguya blowing up half the dimension itself. This is a dimensional level attack. It's something that should not be taken lightly. It'll obliterate planets if it chooses to. This not Genjutsu. This ninjutsu is something that is very, very, very powerful, and still just they have more chakra left. Naruto and Sasuke seal away Kaguya's remains. Basically just her arm, and then that arm attracts the rest of her body part, and then she's sealed away. So yeah, this seals away Kaguya. And yeah. Sasuke's able they have to wait a few minutes, but then after a few minutes, he's able to get them all home. They're out again. Naruto and Sasuke are able to break the infinite Tsukuyomi. And there's no Naruto versus Sasuke. So yeah. Yeah. I don't really know what else we can do. I guess we can go to just the Naruto the last movie. We can also just have a bit stronger. So when she would fight Toneri in canon, she might. Well, I don't know if she fought him. I forget if it's been moving a long time, but she fights Toneri in this one. Doesn't win, but still, she puts up a good fight. Now Naruto arrives single-handedly, just Naruto, no one else. He gives Toneri the hands with disrespect. In his base form, he's giving a cloak to Toneri the hands in base form, and then wins in base form without transforming in one bit. He stabs his man over and over and over, snatches his eyes, gives him the Hinata. By the way, Neji's still dead. Actually, no. He can probably live, but have a serious injury. Actually, I'll say that Neji got half the Kisame treatment. Got half the Kisame treatment. He's not paralyzed from the neck, from the waist down. Not from the neck, from the waist down. So yeah, he kind of just lives like that. So I guess we can just move on to Boruto. The most notable fights I don't care about. We can go on to like Momoshiki and Kenshiki. Well, we have Kakashi, who's a lot stronger than he is in canon, due to the fact that he's just a fucking beast. So Kakashi, Itachi, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Jiraiya, they'll gang up on Momoshiki and Kenshiki and just body him. When Sasuke first fights Momoshiki and Kenshiki, he's with Itachi, because Itachi travels dimensions with Sasuke. Because he got old and was released from the Anbu, but then proceeds to fight with Sasuke. Not like they fight each other, like they're allies. So they kind of travel dimensions together. Pause. But Momoshiki mainly has a grudge against Itachi, not Sasuke or anyone else, just Itachi specifically. Because in this one, there's no difference. Well, Momoshiki's missing an arm, and Kenshiki's missing 2 eyes via Sasuke. So yeah, so Kenshiki would be in fighting Sasuke himself. But Naruto eventually intervenes and just wraps him up in KCM cloak. But then would charge up his Rasengan, not using clone, and then would clone Rasengan's Kichiki right in the face as hard as it can, killing him. And then, yeah. This leads to Momoshiki fighting Naruto and Itachi together, and he loses horribly. With this, we can just move on a bit to, like, Delta, I guess. With Delta, well, there's no Kashin Koji. There's no need for Kashin Koji. But who can I clone? Shisui. Shisui's the clone. And I'm still gonna call him Kashin Koji because I don't have the energy to be creative. Unless, actually, hold up. So, the name of this certain clone will be named Akira, which is pushing together two words. So yeah, so Akira would basically proceed to take the place of Kashin Koji, who would not exist. It would be original Jiraiya. But yeah, now this Akira proceeds to basically spy on the Hidden Leaf via crows. And yeah. If you guys are curious about Hiruzen, I'm pretty sure we've seen the elders in Boruto, the elders that were into the same OG Naruto series. Those elders plus Hiruzen will still be alive currently. They all look old though, so they all look old as hell. By the way, Konohama's a perfect Toad Sage as well. There's 3 perfect Toad Sages in the Hidden Leaf. 3 of them. 3, dos, don't care. 3. Pretty sure Sasuke can be a sage as well, plus Orochimaru's a perfect snake sage. So, there's... I'm gonna make Sasuke a snake sage. Plus Mitsuki, so there's 6 sages in the Hidden Leaf. 6. So, there's 6 sages. Plus Hinata has the Hamura chakra, so that's kind of like 6.5 sages. I'll do that, 6.5. So, pretty impressive. The Hidden Leaf is by far the most broken village. In backstory and power. But, Naruto fights, still fights Delta. But this time he abuses her. Like, it's not even a competition. Like, she is just beaten left, right, up, down. Like, this man is pulling out cheat codes, left and right, no need for anything to be absorbed. He is simply too fast. Like, the moment she has to absorb something, he just disappears using Flying Regiment and stabs her right in the eye. So her eyes are gone, and then she's killed by Naruto. Then Naruto versus Jigen. He has Jigen. This Naruto in base form is comparable to like KCM1 Naruto. Then in KCM1, he's comparable to KCM2 Naruto and Boruto. What does that make KCM2? Baryon mode as fuck. That is like Baryon mode in power. It's like this Jigen Baryon mode. He wins, but then Jigen escapes. I'm not taking Kawaki. Then he tries to come back later with a bit of training. He still loses. But now we go to the final battle. He attacks the Hidden Leaf while Naruto the 5 Kage Summit. Naruto happened to be at 5 Kage Summit. It's only a private one, so there's no Anbu there. But he's at the Hidden Leaf with Jigen and Ishiki attacking it. But Naruto immediately shoots in KCM2 fighting Ishiki. I think they seem to be equals. Not one overwhelming force, just equals, because Ishiki trained a bit. But eventually, Naruto's not pushing himself to Baryon mode. Instead, he ends up mixing up all his powers in one. He sends all his power in one. Well, it does drain his life force and chakra, but it doesn't kill him or Kurama. So with this, he ends up killing Jigen, but still, by draining his life force and chakra, guess what? He's still the strongest shinobi in history, still outmatching Hakushirama and chakra, and can still give Hakushirama the ones and win. So there's not much of a difference besides that he'll live instead of being like 100 something. He'll still probably live to his hundreds. So never mind. But yeah, with this I can kind of end this what if here. If you guys enjoyed, I'll do a special part if not just another important battle. So goodbye. Sorry if this what if was just me talking fast. I kind of have to do some stuff right now, but I kind of lost track because I kept pausing. So I'm gonna go do good stuff I was late for. Bye.